down the backstretch, side by side, wheel to wheel. They touch coming down through the triangle at the line. Who wins it? I believe
it is not a first win that points leader Bobby Labonte is focused on. After all, he has 3 of those already here in Michigan. Rather, it's the vision of being the next to follow Dale Jarrett as a first-time Winston Cup champion that continues to consume Bobby's thoughts each and every Sunday. Last week, Bobby Labonte did what he had to do. He survived Watkins Glen without a glitch and managed a top 5 finish, thus extending his points lead to a season-high 101 over Dale Jarrett. This week, he did just one of his best tracks with one of his best cars. Michigan has provided him with 3 of his 14 career wins. And this particular car, well, in 8 starts, he has won twice and finished no worse than 3rd ever. All that sounds like a recipe for a championship. Until you consider that one broken engine part, one cut tire, or one ignition glitch resulting in a 29th place finish or worse, coupled with a Jarrett win, and Bobby can head to Bristol second in points. And now you know why he looked so worried just a moment ago.
Dale Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace are 2 true champions trying to rebound from one bad weekend. Earnhardt hit the road to destruction early, and when he found a new home in the foam, he had backed up another 72 points in the championship race. He's lost 172 points in the last 3 events. Rusty Wallace will look back at Watkins Glen and wonder what happened. By the time the dust had settled, he'd lost 1 car, 1 position in the standings, and 99 precious points. And speaking of 99, 4 races ago, Jeff Burton was 7th in points, 221 out of the lead. Today, he's 4th in points, 221 out of the lead. Jeff Burton has 7 top 3 finishes this year. That's second only to Bobby Labonte, who has 8. Burton's best finish here, 3rd. These 3 drivers have the same motive and mission: make a run at victory lane and try and prevent a runaway in the points. Earnhardt is a 2-time winner here, but hasn't won at Michigan since June of 1990. Wallace has 4 wins at this track, and his only win in this race came exactly 11 years ago today. This afternoon, we may find out if these 3 racers can continue on course towards challenging for the championship, or if last week put them on the wrong road for good. And as we saw at Watkins Glen, the action and the anger often begin early.
What you want to do? You know what? If you're going to do it, then I'm going to do it. Well, I'll slam you straight in the wall the next time you're anywhere near me. I owe you one now, buddy. I mean, we're professional athletes in professional sport. If we didn't get wound up once in a while, we wouldn't put on very good shows for months. You put that behind you. You go on, and we just raced real hard this weekend and see where we end up. Well, after Sunday was over, it was over. Everybody else kind of wants to drag it out a little longer than what it needs to.
They say it's over. No hard feelings. But the fact of the matter is, those 2 young guns start 16th and 19th today on the grid. It'll be worth watching just to see how careful they are around each other. Because even if it is unintentional, a little tap here or a little tap there will only fuel the fire of what could become one of the best rivalries in NASCAR. Gordon, the established champion, versus Stewart, the upstart, with 6 wins in about a season and a half. NASCAR needs this rivalry to develop. They lit the fire last week at Watkins Glen. The flames need to be flamed today before they burn out. On a beautiful Sunday afternoon, it is time to get this event underway here at Michigan Speedway. Get set to compete for 200 miles on this 2-mile racetrack in the Pepsi 400. It is absolutely beautiful here today. The sun is shining. It's a temperature of around 72 degrees. And we're anticipating an absolutely incredible race here this afternoon. The NASCAR Winston Cup Series, after 21 races last year, saw Dale Jarrett with a 300-point lead. Now he has 100-point deficit to Bobby Labonte. These top 10 drivers have a combined 19 wins here at this facility. Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Jenkins, along with a former couple NASCAR champions, Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons. Unlike last Sunday when we were on the twisting and turning road course, we have a nice wide racetrack here with sweeping turns. the same track they started competing on here in 1969. Or is it, Benny?
Oh, no. Well, the racetrack is exactly the same, but the cars, everything is a great deal different. Normally, when these cars go to the racetrack twice in 1 year, between the first and second race, just subtle changes are made in the car. But today, sitting on pit road, these cars have had wholesale changes since June, and some of the guys still confused. Are we good enough to win, even though we've changed our car a great deal?
What they've been trying to figure out is the new generation tire. When they were here in June, a lot of them didn't have that figured out. They're running a much softer spring setup than they were back then. They've learned that that's what the cars and those tires want nowadays. Now, this track is so wide that you can get a big variety as far as RPMs are concerned. Gearing. If you're set up for the low groove, then you might want a low gear to get you off the corners. But if you're set up for a high groove, you could use a higher gear. But if you're set up for that low groove and the groove is upstairs on the high side of the racetrack, you could be in trouble because you over-rev that engine.
And, Ned, it is also a very fast racetrack. In fact, Michigan now is the third fastest track in terms of qualifying speed. Dale Earnhardt Jr. set a new track record here on Friday at 191.149 miles an hour. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, and the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing invites you to settle back on this Sunday afternoon and enjoy with us the Pepsi 400 from Michigan Speedway, the starting lineup when we come back. Speedway is a 2-mile oval, front stretch 3,600 feet, the back stretch 2,242, and the corners are banked at 18 degrees. It is a very wide racetrack. And we are seeing history of a sort made here today. For the first time in the modern era, a driver, namely Dale Earnhardt, who won earlier this year at Atlanta, will have two sons in the starting lineup. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kerry here making his NASCAR Winston Cup debut. Now here's the Walmart Tire and Lube Express starting lineup. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is on the pole at over 191. Dale Jarrett, the defending series champion, is outside. Rick Mast in the second row has his best start since February of 1998. Ricky Rudd joins him in the second row. In the third row, Bobby Labonte and Jeremy Mayfield returning to action. Then it's Mark Martin and Jerry Nadeau making up row number 4. In the fifth row, Ward Burton and Rusty Wallace. Scott Pruitt and Ken Schrader will begin from the sixth row. In row number 7, it's Ricky Craven and Mike Skinner. Then Steve Hart, last week's winner at Watkins Glen, and Jeff Gordon. Bill Elliott will start 17th alongside Michael Waltrip. Then Tony Stewart, who won here in June, alongside Wally Dallenbach. Sterling Marlin and Dave Blaney will begin from the 21st and 22nd positions. Johnny Benson and Jeff Burton go from row number 12. In the 13th row, it's Joe Nemechek and Hunt Strickland. Then Terry Earnhardt making his debut, 27 starter, and Matt Kenseth. John Andretti and Kevin LePage are in the next row. Then Mike Bliss and Elliott Sadler. Terry Labonte is back on board the Kellogg Chevy. He'll drop to the rear of the field because Todd Bodine qualified the car. Andy Houston makes his Winston Cup debut here this afternoon. He'll start beside Chad Little. Dale Earnhardt had to take a provisional. So did Robert Presley, who ran so well here earlier. Jimmy Spencer and Ted Musgrave. Bobby Hamilton, Brett Bodine, and the next to the last row in the 43rd and final starting position goes to Robbie Gordon. Here are the drivers who failed to qualify for this event. David Keith, Carl Long, Kyle Petty, Darrell Waltrip, Stacey Compton. This is his first race of his rookie year, and Jeffrey Bodine.
We'll check out our onboard cameras. Elliott Sadler started back in 32nd, has the Citgo on board. Jeff Burton, the Parts Plus onboard camera, starts in 24th position. Bill Elliott will be taking McDonald's car for a ride through the drive-thru, starts 17th. Mike Skinner has the Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse car, starts 14th. Rusty Wallace, a Miller Lite onboard camera, starts in 10th position this afternoon. Ward Burton has the Husqvarna on board. He starts 9th. Bobby Labonte, in the Circuit City onboard camera, as he usually does, starts 5th. Rick Mast, great qualifying run for Rick. He's 3rd today in the Casico onboard camera. Dale Jarrett outside that front row, the Ford Quality Care camera. On the pole, the Budweiser onboard camera with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
We will go 200 laps. That will make up the 400 miles. The purse exceeds $2 million, and the pit window here is between 48 and 54 laps. Jerry, they're just about ready to go in a half lap.
Bob, an oil leak in Dale Jarrett's car during happy hour was diagnosed as a cracked oil pan. Now, because NASCAR wanted to close the garage, they pulled the engine out, took it out behind the motorhome lot, and basically rebuilt the engine until midnight last night, then put it back in at 7 o'clock this morning. The last time DJ rebuilt an engine in a parking lot of Michigan was spring of '99. He led 160 of 200 laps on that day. John Kernan?
Benny already mentioned the surprisingly great qualifying run by Rick Mast, but keep an eye on their pit crew today, because crew chief Felipe Lopez says they've hired Gary Smith from DEI to train the crew. They're doing 10 stops a day. Last week they were on the 14 to 15 second range. Bill Weber.
A lot of behind-the-scenes heroes, but of the 18 or the 20 wins today, John Malloy could be the biggest. He's the wiring engineer for Gibbs Racing. He completely changed the ignition system on the 18 and won Fox in the 20 after they found a problem here on Saturday. A lot of heroes. He could be one of them. They come to get the green, Bob.
Pace car is off the racetrack. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads them down for the second time in his Winston Cup career, and the green flag drops. We're underway at Michigan.
Stewart on the bottom of the racetrack trying to work his way to the front.
Battle for third, Rudd. Now Bobby Labonte dropped in behind Ricky.
Rick Mast off to a good start. He's up in second place. Fourth here.
It's a little bit high coming off the fourth. To the inside. Meanwhile, coming down to lead the first lap is going to be Dale Earnhardt Jr. First time he has led since Dover.
Ricky Craven trying to get on by some cars, trying to get inside Scott Pruitt, and Pruitt's car wiggled. And Bill Elliott right in the middle of all that stuff, and Mike Skinner high on the racetrack, followed closely by Jeff Gordon.
And they're in 3 and 4 deep back in the pack.
Up alongside Wally Dallenbach.
That's Elliott's car on the bottom of the racetrack with the looks to be white side, battle for second spot.
Dale Jarrett coming to the inside and at the line leads Rick Mast, and Mast will drop in behind him. So put Jarrett up to second now as Dale Earnhardt Jr. still has the lead. Rick Mast running in third spot, and Bobby Labonte working the high side of the racetrack, trying to move up. It looks like he's going to be able to do so.
Boy, he has a run coming off of turn 2 and just blows by. Rick Mast pulls right up on the back bumper of Dale Jarrett. Bobby Labonte's car was very good in happy hour yesterday afternoon. He's going to coming off in turn 4. That's not going to work this time.
Have some telemetry on board Rick Mascanseco car. But let's go back and watch Jerry Nadeau and Rusty Wallace. There's Ward Burton, Mike Skinner, Jeff Gordon. That's a battle back for about the 14th, 15th position.
Here's a battle for second. Bobby Labonte gets that run off of turn 2 once again, like he did on Rick Mast the last time. Does it on Dale Jarrett this time.
Jarrett, though, will battle back as he moves his car down to the low side of the racetrack. Labonte, with the RPMs build up, will go into second spot. Three wide racing back here. That's Tony Stewart, who is still working the low side of the racetrack. Ward Burton alongside him. Ken Schrader looking on along with Elliott.
Tony Stewart in happy hour last night kept running the bottom of the racetrack. Stayed on the bottom of the racetrack. Like he's trying to run 400 miles down there. And as Ned Jarrett said, if he decides he needs to go to the top today, he could turn that Home Depot Pontiac too many RPM.
Here's Ricky Rudd trying to make a run on Rick Mast. Rudd in the 5th position. Mast. Actually, yeah, 4th and 5th.
Here comes Jeremy Mayfield. Off the corner on the inside of Ricky Rudd. taking that 4th spot.
Well, Mayfield had a great run here back in June. He was anxious to get back in that number 12 and get to this racetrack.
Oh, Jeremy gets a little loose getting in that corner. Had to back up behind Ricky Rudd, I should say.
Coming off a 4. Kerry Earnhardt has crashed in his Winston Cup debut. The Real 3 Chevy, extensive right side damage.
Well, that's too bad. He's not going to get the experience that he'd hoped to get. Of course, the wrong kind of experience. He'd hoped to run a lot of laps here today.
Kerry has experience in the Busch Grand National Series and also in ARCA, where he's been running this year. He does get the Real 3 Chevy refired, but it does bring out the caution. He won an ARCA race earlier this year at Pocono and has 4 top 5s in his 5 starts.
You see the right front wheel is towed out so much that's actually sliding across the racetrack. That's what the smoke you see.
Take a look at what happened up in the 3rd turn.
Looked like he was up on the outside. Couldn't tell how close another car was when it first started, but he was up in the very high groove and just slammed right up into the wall.
Well, there's extensive damage to the car, so Kerry will take it behind the wall. We'll take a break and be back with more from Michigan Speedway, where Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads.
Fitzgerald.
Welcome back to Michigan Speedway, where the Pepsi 400 is underway with Dale Earnhardt Jr. at the front of the field and the caution out because of his older brother Kerry, who crashed up in turn 3. During this caution period, we saw several cars on pit road. Now, somewhat unusual, but then again, obviously these guys were saying, hey, things aren't right, and I need some help.
Yeah, they'd only run 7 laps, and those cars at the back of the pack, about 13 of them, decided to come in, make some adjustments, and change tires. And, Jared, a lot of things going on there.
Well, down in the car number 1 pit, the Pennzoil pits for Steve Park. He made a pit stop here a lap ago on lap number 7. But the car was pushing, and historically this racetrack gets tighter and tighter as you go along. So if you start out with a push, it's going to be plowing by the time they make their first scheduled stop at around lap 50. They came in, took a rubber out of the left rear, one round a wedge out, and trying to free the car up in the middle of the corner. Let's check in with Bill Weber.
Well, on the 22 car, Ward Burton very, very loose. So they came in, unfortunately got 4 tires and fuel, made an air pressure adjustment, put 3 rounds of wedge in the left rear. And Ward ran so well here yesterday. Now let's get an update from the garage from John Kernan.
Kerry Earnhardt is climbing from his car. Kerry, what happened?
We just got there. The car was a little loose there at the start, and Dave Marcus is coaching me on. He was taking it easy and everything, and went turn 3, the car got up under me and took the air off, and it went on around as loose as it was. There wasn't no way I was going to hold it. And we're just trying to stay out of trouble and just be patient and be able to get the first caution, come in and tighten it up, but it didn't work out that way.
There were some drivers reporting to their crews before the accident that there was oil out on the racetrack, so he may have gotten into that.
Dave Marcus looking on as they try to make repairs to that car. We'll take a break under caution here with 8 laps completed. It's Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Bobby Labonte up front. Just as go, go, go. The word goes out to go, go, go. We are back to racing. Dale Earnhardt Jr. back here in the pack a little bit. That's Tony Stewart down to the inside of Jeff Gordon. We know what happened between those two last week, but Stewart on the bottom of the track really makes up some ground.
And Jerry Nadeau in the middle of the racetrack got off to a terrible, it's like something's wrong with the car, but maybe he just got a bad restart.
And to the inside, here comes Scott Pruitt in that 32 Tide car, and Sterling Marlin also. Hollenbach runs the middle of the track with Nadeau up high.
Nadeau on the restart was running in 9th position and now is back to 16th. He lost 7 positions that lap.
Tony Stewart picked up about that many on that lap.
Tony Vincent in the 10 car, and the announcement was made yesterday that Valvoline will become part owner of that team next year. And look at the difference in the grooves being used here. Labonte way down low and Earnhardt up about as high as he can get.
And that Labonte was up high the first few laps of this race, but now he's gone to the bottom. Tony Stewart is still on the bottom of the racetrack. It looks like he has chosen that to be his groove in today's race. And you know, the strange thing is, his car seemed to work so well high in June.
Tony has moved up to the 10th spot.
Those tires get heated up quick. It might be difficult to keep it right at the bottom of the racetrack. He's making it work for himself now. He gets down on the inside of Jeremy Mayfield.
And Rusty Wallace, you and I, great minds work together. And Rusty Wallace and Ricky Rudd try to get by the Conseco car to take over the fourth position.
Take a look at Dale Earnhardt Jr. now. He's going to try to move down on the inside.
Well, Jr.'s very, very high on the racetrack. And Bobby Labonte takes the lead.
On board with Mike Skinner, looking back to Jeremy Mayfield, and look at Tony Stewart once again diving down to the bottom of the track, getting those left side tires actually below the yellow line.
Now that's the line that I kept expecting to see in qualifying on Friday afternoon, that no one would run. They all ran the middle to the top of the racetrack.
Tony trying to take over the 7th position from Skinner. And it looks like he will get the job done.
Tony Stewart started back in 19th position. Meanwhile, Dale Jarrett, outside pole sitter, gets by Dale Jr. to take second spot. Jr.'s coming back.
Yeah, he got up there and took the air off of Jarrett's spoiler. And Jarrett had to get out of the gap. Bobby Labonte was able to pull away while they were doing that little maneuver.
And Earnhardt Jr. still fighting for that second spot, Jerry.
Dale Jarrett told Todd Parrott a moment ago that his car was very loose when he tried to run the top of the racetrack. He was going to move down to the middle groove or even lower if he could. Once he moved down, the car tightened up, and now it is much more to his liking. Meanwhile, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is complaining of the opposite problem. His car has gotten tight off the corners. He can't keep the car down, opening up the inside. He's pretty easily passed.
Well, Jarrett loses a couple of spots here, lost it to Dale Earnhardt Jr., and now Rusty Wallace has also been able to get around.
Rusty went into turn 1 right on Jarrett's bumper, was going to try to help him push DJ by Dale Earnhardt Jr., but it loosened DJ's car up too much. He had to back off the gas. Rusty just drove by him on the outside.
And now Rusty looks to second spot as he is wheel to wheel with Earnhardt Jr., and now completes the pass, so Rusty Wallace up to second position, but about a second and a half behind Bobby Labonte.
While these guys doing all that racing back there, Bobby Labonte looking in his rearview mirror and loving it.
Ricky Rudd. Junior just does not want to give these spots up.
Car on the move is the 99. Jeff Burton has picked up the most position since the green flag dropped.
He said that his car was good in happy hour yesterday. I watched him make a long, long run, and his car was good.
Jeff currently running in the 9th spot.
He started in 24th position. And the Yates car still running side by side with Jarrett and Rudd.
We don't have any serious racing while we go back just briefly to check on Jeff Burton. There he is, only now about 4.5 seconds behind the leader, and and closing in on the car running just ahead of him, and that would be Jeremy Mayfield.
And Jeff Burton has passed a lot of good race cars from where he has come from.
Rick Mast, on the other hand, is losing spots. Here comes the 10 of Johnny Benson up to take away a position, and that will drop him back another one. John, what's going on with Rick?
Bob, right now, Rick is complaining that the car has picked up a terrible push. He goes into the turns. The front end does not want to turn at all, wants to push up toward the wall. So they want to hang on till the first pit stop, make some chassis adjustments and some air pressure adjustments to the tires to try and loosen that car up.
Well, he just lost 17th position and is about to lose 18th as Matt Kenseth has gone right up to the rear spoiler.
And here goes Tony Stewart, still right on that yellow line around 1 and 2.
Well, he's got that thing dialed in. He can go just about anywhere he wants to go. And he's the only one that I've seen so far that is able to consistently run down low and make it work.
And he worked on that all happy hour last night. The whole hour he spent on the bottom of the racetrack running some very long extended runs. Oh, baby. Trying to make sure that his chassis was going to be okay, because he felt like the entire field was going to be at the top of the racetrack and to be able to pass, he needs to be able to do it on the bottom. And it looks like that strategy is working perfectly as he's trying his best to take over the third position.
Well, in the center of the corner, he doesn't have any company down there. He's down there all by himself. Those other race cars are way up the racetrack. But when he comes off of the turn, of course, he has to drift up in there where they are. There he goes. Cuts her down there again.
Looks like there's 15 bus lengths between those two cars.
And Stewart will take over.
Not yet. Not quite. Earnhardt's got a run going into the turn. He's running a much shorter racetrack than the others are running. But Benny mentioned earlier about the possible gearing situation. If he has to go up the top side, would he turn too many RPMs? But as Benny said, he worked on that slow groove yesterday in happy hour, so I'm sure that they geared it accordingly.
All this from the Pennzoil Copter Cam circling overhead Michigan Speedway, which will become Michigan International Speedway like it used to be called officially tomorrow. And now a big group of cars running here, including Dale Earnhardt, who's threading his way through the field. He's currently up to 19th.
And he's one of those drivers that made a pit stop during that crossing.
Right.
So, boy, they've made some big improvements on his Chevrolet.
And we saw Mike Skinner up front earlier on in the 31 car. Now he is struggling as he falls back to the field. As DJ and Rudd still battling over that 5th position.
Jeremy Mayfield in car number 12 right there. So which one of these guys do I want to follow?
Either one of them did.
No, he'd say I'll just go down here and do my own deal.
Oh, and Brett Bodine has smoke coming from his Ralph Supermarket Ford Taurus.
Caution is out.
And the caution is out. Second time for the caution. 24 laps are completed. Bobby Labonte has now led 11 of the last 12 Michigan races. He's out front here today.
Welcome back to pit road on Michigan. Under caution, pit stops happening. Jeremy Mayfield's car very loose. 4 tires, a half round down on the track bar, and 1 round of wedge in the left rear as they try to tighten that car up. Work is finished. On the right side, they'll swing around to the left. Let's go down to Bill Weber.
Bobby Labonte and Tony Stewart on the top and the bottom with Rusty Wallace in the middle. The 18 and the 20 have been good. Rusty's already away. Looks like a 2-tire stop from here. Left side around Labonte. His cars are pretty good. Same for Tony Stewart. But no changes at this point.
And now the rush off pit road. Looks like that several took 2 tires and gained significant track position. Among them was Jeff Gordon, who I believe is going to be second when they come out.
Every car on the racetrack stops.
Elliott Sadler leaving, so is Dave Blaney, and down to Jerry Punch.
Guys, Dale Earnhardt Jr. said his car was perfect in turns 1 and 2, but entering turn 3, he developed a severe push. The car would not turn. He said, don't mess it up for me in turns 1 and 2, but try to help me a little bit in turn 3, so they made an air pressure adjustment on the left side. Now, as for Dale Jarrett, I mentioned he had been very loose while running up high. They decided to go ahead and make air pressure and a track bar change on the 88 car, trying to help DJ be able to drive the car into the corner without getting the back end loose. I hope it'll help the 88 and the 8 car as we get set for green here momentarily.
And the track crew is cleaning up some oil on the racetrack from Brett Bodine's cars. So after 26 laps, we'll take another break and be back in a moment. Caution for the second time here at the Pepsi 400. They are racing here in Michigan today, and they are also at the X Games, which are underway in San Francisco. Here's ESPN's Chris Fowler with a preview of what's coming up after our race.
Thanks, Bob. Here in San Francisco, the masses have stormed the pier for X Games 2000. Racing is the theme of today's coverage. The course and the mode of transport a bit different than they are in Michigan. Street luge racing, 6 guys on sleds, all going down the Seal Rock Run course in the Supermass. They reach speeds of over 50 miles per hour. Afterwards, we're sending speed bikes down the same course to see how they handle the famed Cliff House turn. Plenty of speed today at the X Games. Coming up next, immediately following the Pepsi 400. Bob?
Well, when you have a crash in those luges, you really have a crash, don't you? We're looking forward to the X Games coming up after our coverage of the Pepsi 400. Well, the crew cam is being worn by Bobby Burrell from Steve Park's crew. Let's watch him in action, BP.
Front tire changer. When you win a race, you get on TV the next week. Burrell takes the 5 lug nuts off. He throws that tire off. The changer, Billy Supin, sticks the tire on. They go around to the left side. And folks, we did not speed this film, this tape up. This is the way it goes on pit road. All right, let's go. Get out of here. There you go. Good stop.
That's unbelievable. It really is. Let's check a Coke pit summary here and see who lost and gained during this pit stop. Rusty Wallace moved up a spot. Look at Jeff Gordon, who gained 8 positions. And Jerry Nadeau, wow, up to 3rd from 21st. Bobby Labonte lost 3, and Tony Stewart lost a couple of positions. Doc?
And Rusty Wallace's pit stop, 2 right side tires only, mild air pressure adjustment in the right rear because the car was tight completely through the corners, but 9 seconds flat for Rusty's pit stop. That's why he's leading. Let's go to Bill.
For Mike Skinner, he was too tight. 1 pound out of the right rear, rubber out of the right rear, and a round down on the left rear. John?
Jeremy Mayfield lost a bunch of spots on pit road when the lug nut fell off the left front tire during that pit stop. That cost you a couple of seconds, and you see what a couple of seconds does there. On the other end of the spectrum, Dale Earnhardt's crew just pulled off one of the fastest pit stops I think I've ever seen. 4 tires, fuel, no changes, and get this, 14.21 seconds.
Wow. Good job by the crew. It's Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon, Jerry Nadeau, Bobby Labonte, and Tony Stewart, the top 5 after 28 of 200 laps. We didn't miss a thing. We had just now gone green once again. And Tony Stewart once again heads for the bottom of the racetrack, gets to the inside of his teammate Bobby Labonte, but Labonte has some work to do with Jerry Nadeau.
Labonte just turns left and goes under Nadeau. He'll take over that 3rd spot. Meanwhile, Earnhardt Jr. somehow got between the 18 and 20. I'm not sure exactly how he did that.
On board with Bobby Labonte, looking back to Stewart and Nadeau.
Trying to follow Dale Earnhardt Jr. and grabbed by Labonte. Jr. makes that pass. He moves into the 2nd spot, looks for in the 3rd spot, looks for 2nd down the backstretch.
Well, Earnhardt just made a great move around both Dale Jarrett and Ricky Rudd coming off of turn 2, past the boat on the outside.
He is up to the 8th spot now. Here comes Rudd. Meanwhile, up front, Wallace still has the lead, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. has gone to 2nd, passing Jeff Gordon, and now Bobby Labonte begins to work on Jeff. Well, I don't think there's any doubt that Earnhardt Jr. has a very fast race car. He's moved through the field quickly from that pit stop.
Yes, he did. Earnhardt Jr. looks awfully good today. I'm sure that Jeff Gordon, Rusty Wallace, these guys have changed 2 tires. Really truly, they were trying to figure out later on in the race what the car is going to do when they change just 2 tires to make sure that they can make the proper adjustment for a 2-tire change later. That last pit stop trying to get track position.
Well, the Dale and Dale show there with Earnhardt up high and Jarrett down low. Also up there, right in the middle of things, is Bill Elliott, who has a good run going. He's just outside the top 10 now.
Meanwhile, Bobby Labonte goes by Junior, take over that second. Well, he tried to go by Junior, take over the second spot.
Bobby loose. Wow. Yes, he did get loose and really wiggle with him.
Once again, we have Stewart and Gordon running very close to each other. Remembers what happened last week at Watkins Glen and are watching these two very carefully, but both of them have said, hey, that's past history. It was forgotten about after last Sunday.
Even the Dale Earnhardt fans are watching the 20 and 24 right now. And Bobby Labonte, I don't guess he liked that loose part very much, so he backs up a little bit. The last time he came through this corner, he was battling for second. Now he's battling for the 3rd position. Jeff Burton, that Exide car comes into frame.
And here comes Dale Earnhardt sneaking up on him, too.
And watch Earnhardt. He's going to go that high groove. And way down low, there's Dale Jarrett and Ricky Rudd sort of in the middle. And Earnhardt's going to prevail, and Rudd will get by Jarrett.
And Bobby Labonte has lost a couple more spots. He was battling for second. Now he's battling back for about the 6th position. And Earnhardt is on the outside of Jeff Burton. Does Jeff know he's there? Yes, his spotter had warned him. Bobby Hudson said he's on the outside. So he backs up and follows Earnhardt in. Now Jerry Nadeau trying to get by Bobby Labonte.
And Earnhardt is as high on the racetrack as you can run without getting... Oh, we have a crash! Tom Stewart spins right in the path of Jeff Gordon. And once again, the caution comes out, the 3rd of the race in the first 36 laps. So the winner here in June suffers a major setback here in the early part of this event at Michigan Speedway. Damage to the front end and the back end of the Home Depot Pontiac. And we saw Jeff Gordon run into Tony Stewart. Not a great deal of damage, but then again up there on the left front of the car, it could mean...
Well, he's hit the flat side, the right side against the wall, and hit Tony Stewart with the left front. So he's got both sides of the DuPont Chevrolet.
And he's headed down pit road. Even though pit road was not open, they had no choice here in Tony Stewart both coming down pit road. And then he's get in and get the work started on this car.
Well, Tony will take the car directly to the garage area. Let's take a look at what happened.
Tony Stewart on the bottom. Oh, there we see. Goes in the corner and gets it loose, getting in. And Junior somehow sensed that he was in trouble, and he goes up the racetrack, and there we see Jeff Gordon hit him with the left front and then go up and hit the wall with the right side, and Elliott just barely gets by.
Several drivers do a good job of evasive driving from another angle.
Just got loose on him. He tried to correct it, chased it up the hill a little bit, touched Dale Earnhardt Jr. right up in front of Jeff Gordon.
And Dale Earnhardt in the 3 car just barely gets by. And there's Nadeau and Elliott just somehow split in the 20 car.
From the Pennzoil Copter Cam, this overhead view. Earnhardt came so close to hitting that car. And look at Bill Elliott.
Here, let's watch Bill Elliott. He'll go down in turn 1, goes by the start-finish line, and he's going to have a windshield full of Tony Stewart before this lap's over.
Where do I go? That's not the place to be.
Now on board with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Strictly coincidental that the 24 and the 20 got together there.
But in any case, the race is under its third caution, Bill.
Well, for the third straight race, Jeff Gordon involved in an early race collision. He has shut off the DuPont Chevrolet. They have heavy damage on the right side and the left. They've torn away sheet metal here on the left side. They're working on the suspension on the right side. They were concerned about the toe. They've taken the tire off. Now they're going to put it back on. They want to try and fix the nose piece. Jeff talking it over with Robbie Loomis. They're working right now on the right front tire and looking at the suspension parts on the left side as well. Now they lower the jack and let's see. Gordon's going to sit here for a minute while they go ahead and, again, it looks like they're going to go ahead and check. Now it looks like they might be pushing it back. Yes, he's got a broken brake rotor, it looks like now. We just saw him. They kicked it out from beneath the car, Benny.
Yeah, I saw that, Bill. I saw him. It's too hot to pick up, so they were kicking it around the car. And you see it sitting against the wall there. The broken brake rotor.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. was very close to Tony Stewart when he lost it. Looks like that his car is relatively unscathed.
Well, if he has damage, it would be on the left side, but I don't know that they made contact. Somehow, either the spotter warned Jr. or he sensed. You see the left side? I don't see any damage.
John Kernan is with Tony Stewart.
And Tony's car is in the garage. The crew busy working on it. Tony, you're okay. What happened?
I just lost it down there. I mean, we're just racing hard out there. It was my fault. I just got down in there, and I don't know why I got loose. I hadn't been loose down there all day. It just, for some reason, got loose that one lap down there, and just crashed a bunch of people. I didn't mean to crash. It was my fault. I lost it.
Do you think there might have been any oil or anything out there on the racetrack?
I don't know. Like I said, I hadn't been loose in that spot all day, so it was a big surprise to me when it got loose there. So I don't know. I just want to apologize to the guys I took out also.
Tony Stewart sitting here patiently watching as his team tries to fix his car as best they can and then get it back out on the racetrack.
Hey, John, you know, ironically, the only guy that he took out was Jeff Gordon. And he said the guys that got took out, really the only guy was Jeff Gordon.
And here comes Jeff back out on the racetrack already. Jeff Gordon has the best average finish of any driver here, 5.1, but he and Tony Stewart have been involved in a collision here early in the Pepsi 400.
Eddie, green.
Race underway once again on lap number 42. We ran 4 laps of caution with that Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon incident down in turn 1, but now speed come up and we're back to competition. Both Bobby Labonte and Dale Earnhardt Jr. go to the inside of Rusty Wallace down the backstretch.
Watch those Johnny Benson drive to the bottom of the racetrack. Well, there he is on the inside of Dale Earnhardt. Going in the corner, right behind Labonte.
Labonte had to back off. He got there and his car got loose down that inside once again, so he's had to back off.
And somehow Nadu sneaks between Earnhardt and Jeff Burton. Meanwhile, Earnhardt is in the middle of a 3 wide. Jarrett's on the bottom of the racetrack.
Benson and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Now battle for third, but Benson falls behind Little E.
is the 17 car, the DeWalt car. I talked to Robbie Reiser. The Tucci's on that car. They changed everything possible to change on that car that has anything at all remotely to do with the chassis this morning. They said they were absolutely terrible in happy hour yesterday afternoon, and this morning he was shaking his head, and I just don't understand it. Right now, it looks like he does understand it because he's moved up to the 10th position.
Matt started in the 28th spot. Here is Johnny Benson once again down the low side of Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the battle for third spot, but Benson unable to take advantage.
Well, he's trying to make that low groove work for himself. He drives her down there again.
Again, this team will be called MBB next year, with Valvoline owning 50% of this team. Johnny Benson will remain behind the wheel. Benson, of course, is the home state favorite this weekend. He grew up in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
It looks like those two tires that Rusty Wallace changed on that Miller Lite Ford was not a bad move because he's able to stay up for quite a few laps in front of Bobby Labonte.
Rusty Wallace has led more races and more laps than any other driver this year, and he adds to that total here this afternoon. This is the 14th race that he has led, and coming into this event, he had led 1,042 laps, and so far he's led 16. Now Rudd to the inside of Benson, or right behind him at least.
Well, he tried to go down the inside, but there's just not much room there, but he did help to push Winston right on by Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Oh, and Rudd needs to go up the hill, but Junior was there.
Look at Jeff Burton.
Now, drafting does come into play on this racetrack. Not like you see at Daytona and Talladega where they're going to run right on into the corners right on the bumper, but on the straightaways, they can definitely feel the effects of it.
That's what Todd Bodine was talking about this morning in the garage here, just how important the lap was. And he suggested in the 250-mile Nascar Busch Series race. I think that was James Dance, the crew chief for Johnny Benson, telling him, oh, and Earnhardt is up there with no man's land.
He's been running awfully high.
Get out of John Kernan, who's caught up with Jeff Gordon.
Crew is working on his car, trying to get him ready to get the brakes fixed to get back out there. Jeff, it looked like you needed maybe, 2-3 more feet to get by?
Probably more than that. I saw him get sideways, and I was either going to hit him in the door or in the bumper, and I don't know. I think this tore my car up a little bit worse trying to go around him, but he got loose, and there wasn't anywhere for us to go. It's unfortunate, we made a two-tire stop there and got the car back up there in good track position. It didn't start out too good there. Those guys with two tires are pretty good, but then once we got going there a few laps, my car was pretty good.
No confrontation this time between you two. It was strictly incidental, coincidental, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm sure there's probably a lot of people that are wondering, about what was going to happen with the 20 and 24, and that had nothing to do with this weekend at all. He was racing hard and looked like he just got real loose under the 8 car.
All right, Jeff Gordon is okay, headed back to the garage area to check out the work being done on his car.
And we're watching Jimmy Spencer and Wally Dallenbach and Robert Presley.
Ricky Craven, the 40 car. Sterling Marlin has a pretty good run going. Ward Burton, the Caterpillar car, started ninth, but he was moving back. He's back now to the 27th position. That was Ward Burton telling Tommy Baldwin it's too tight in the nose. In other words, think the front sliding across the racetrack. Labonte finally has got a run.
Rusty's going to hang on to that outside. Let's see.
I think Labonte's got it. Nope.
I don't think so. Bobby had to back off. He didn't have the line that he needed going into the turn. I'm sure his spotter kept telling him he's still there, and it just did not let him get in the turn at the angle that he needed to, but he's going to try it again now going into turn 3.
Some of our observers have noticed that Bobby Labonte at the end of the front stretch, he gets a great run off Rusty Wallace. Here, he gets a great run, but at the end of the front straightaway, he seems to run out of gear. I would imagine they've got a chip in there that kills the engine at a certain RPM, and it might be that Labonte about right there, starts running into the rev limiter and can't carry it on down in the corner.
But I'm wondering, too, if he doesn't have to back off to keep the car from really getting loose when he goes, because we heard earlier that he was loose. In fact, we saw it when he was up under some cars earlier under Dale Earnhardt Jr. He was very loose also. So
this is a good three-car battle up there in front, and a good three-car battle going on here as Rudd, Earnhardt Jr. and Earnhardt all slug it out, and Dale Jarrett joins in. Now this is 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and 9th, Matt Kenseth. Goes to the low side of the racetrack.
Now, he's been running high. Let's see how it's going to work out when he gets down here to the turn, down on the inside.
3 wide into the corner. Man, he
just drove on in there.
Sure did.
Going to pass them all. Maybe his son is going to let him get back on the outside, but here comes Rudd back on the inside. This is the kind of racing we used to see here at Michigan back when you were doing it.
Yes. And Dale Earnhardt in the 3-car probably would have pulled a slide job on almost every race driver on the racetrack right now, except that 8-car.
Yeah, he was starting at that in front of him. Just as he started off with 2, he could have slid up in front of him, but he would have killed the momentum of his son.
See Mark Martin there, who has passed Matt Kenseth, and Martin moves up to 9th.
Now, Mark Martin has really come up through the pack. He made a pit stop during that last caution, so he has really got his Valvoline forward to working.
He restarted 22nd position and is now up to the 9th spot. So, yes, looks like Jimmy Finning and the crew has made some great changes to the Valvoline car.
Down to Jerry.
On that pit stop for Mark Martin on lap 38, Mark had been complaining the car was very, very tight. They came in, only took on 2 right side tires. They took wedge out. The car would turn in the corners. Obviously, from looking at the racetrack, Mark is much, much better than he was the first 37 laps of today.
And Johnny Benson has taken over 2nd position from Bobby Labonte. So Benson now sets his sights on the leader, Rusty Wallace. More than a fourth of the race is over already. Average speed is right up there, a near record. It's Rusty Wallace and Johnny Benson leading over Bobby Labonte. Back to 22nd spot. Meanwhile, here is the battle up front. Johnny Benson challenging Rusty Wallace, but look at Jeff Burton out of nowhere.
99 inside.
Ricky Craven has taken his car to the pits, and we might tell you that Tony Stewart is officially out of the race. He had top 10 finishes, including 3 wins in the last 12 races, but is an early retiree here at Michigan.
Now this side-by-side battle for 2nd is allowing Rusty Wallace to open up a little bit of a gap. Johnny Benson still on that inside. And Matt Kenseth trying to draft by Dale Earnhardt, but Earnhardt's been using that high groove, and he's going to make it work for himself again, it looks like.
Jeff Burton is on the outside of Rusty Wallace. That means one thing, trouble for Rusty Wallace. But can he add horsepower? Can he move up in front? He did. Man, that 2-car seems to have great horsepower. Meanwhile, Bobby Labonte's trying to take over that 3rd spot from the 10-car. Johnny Benson. And does.
Jerry Nadeau and Dale Earnhardt now battle for the 8th spot. And here comes Matt Kenseth. Meanwhile, these 4 cars up front continue to slug it out. But nobody has been able to dispose of Rusty Wallace recently. Down to Jerry.
Guys, back in June, we watched the race here at Michigan, and we told the top 4 or 5 finishers, and they said that they were turning about 8,400 to 8,550 RPM during that race. Well, for some reason here in August, the speeds are up considerably, and just before the race, I asked the 99 car, the 2 car, and a couple others, how many RPMs on race day setup. They said between 8,900 and 9,100 RPMs. And guys, that's a lot for an engine to stand here for 400 miles. Let's check in with Bill Evans.
Well, Bobby Labonte out on the racetrack, and Benny, you speculated that perhaps there's a rev limiter chip in that 18 car as the 2 and the 99 continue to battle in front of the 18 on the racetrack. That's not the case. I talked to Mark Cronquist. He's the head engine builder for Joe Gibbs Racing and the engine tuner on the 18. He says at the end of the straightaways, they're simply getting out horsepowered, out muscled, because right now other teams can push their motors to the edge, trying to get that extra horsepower. But the 18 team leads the points. They need reliability, so they've opted for reliability over muscle at the end of the straightaways. Right now, they could use a little handling. Bobby Labonte moves all the way through the corners.
Finally, Jeff Burton is able to get into the lead. Now, Bobby Labonte comes up and challenges Rusty for second spot.
We can see that high groove, just how much better it works, and as they go through the corner, and both those cars go by Rusty Wallace. Also, we have to remember, Rusty Wallace still has those left side tires that he started the race on.
Jeff Burton, Jerry, becomes our 4th different leader today.
And guys, you may want to foul it away. Jeff Burton, early on in the run, is not very good. But after 30, 35 laps, he gets better. Caution.
Elliott Sadler, who had a horrible crash here in the spring, has crashed again here at Michigan Speedway, and will bring out our 4th caution of the afternoon.
And I tell you what, this crash might hurt worse than the one he had in the spring, because he flipped in practice during the June race, but looks like he's made just some terrific contact with the wall with the right side, and we see him talking to the crew on the radio. His left hand is pushing the button down as he talks to the crew.
We'll take a look at it from his onboard camera.
Very back of the screen, you see Elliott go up, and there he pounds the wall, and it looked like the tire went flat. Did he run over something, puncture the tire, and goes down the corner, and the front tire is flat, so it just will not turn. Now we see debris flying off the car.
Pace car has the field in tow, and so the pit road will open this time. And we'll see a lot of activity on pit road again as Jeff Burton leads Labonte and Wallace, Benson, and Ricky Rudd down.
Oh, this is the most exciting part. Guys down the pits getting to their job. John Kernan.
And among the top 4, Johnny Benson will be the first to hit his pit stall. The James Insulate crew goes to work. They will make a casting adjustment on the right rear, a half around the wedge out. Also an air pressure adjustment. And now let's go to Dr. Jerry Price. Triple split pits. Burton, Labonte, and Wallace head over the 99, 18 and 2. Left side cars now going on the 99 car. Likewise, left side already up for Rusty Wallace. Let's check in with Bill Weber down Bobby Labonte's pit. 14.51 on their last stop. Track bar adjustment, air pressure adjustment. Bobby Labonte on his way. He'll beat everybody out. The 88 and 28 battle. The 22 jumps in the mix with his brother. Look out.
Car is still, they're making some huge, they're hooking up the rear sway bar. I would guess that they're hooking up the rear sway bar to try to free the car up. And they decided to give away all the track position for a better handling race car.
Mike Skinner was in 15th position, but will now fall back to the tail of the field as he completes the work on pit road and rejoins the field. We'll take a break and be right back. Back at Michigan Speedway, Ted Musgrave did make the pit stop, as you saw, just as we went to break, so he relinquishes the lead to Bobby Labonte once again. Bill Weber.
During the first round of pit stops for Bobby Labonte, Jeff Chandler, the front tire changer, felt a vibration in the socket of his air gun. You know how drivers feel a vibration? Well, Chandler felt one in this socket. They normally change them every 3 races. This socket was used at Indianapolis and Watkins Glen on the first stop here, 14.51. But after he felt that vibration, he took this socket off, put on a new one. Second stop, 14.20, unofficially for the 18. Drivers feel vibrations, so do the tire changers. Let's go further down pit road.
And John Andretti has made multiple pit stops in the Cheerios Pontiac. John has complained the car is all over the racetrack. Not consistent. The car goes in the corner, will not take a set, and then suddenly jerks to the right. Greg Stedman had made a couple of changes early on, but decided to bring the car down pit road, and they'd actually moved the right rear of the car forward. That's why he was on pit road so long. John is down on the way, but hoping they can do something to help this car. He said it is absolutely terrible.
And let's update you on Terry Labonte, who started last. His car was qualified by Todd Bodine. He started last, and Terry Labonte currently up to 22nd position, returning to the Winston Cup Wars. Well, we thought we were going green this time around. We are not, so we'll run at least one more lap under caution. We'll take another break and be back with more in a moment at Michigan. Once again, we get back just as the green comes out and the crowd rises to its feet again.
Green flag, green.
This green coming out on lap number 71.
Ricky Creighton in the 50 car has had numerous pit stops, and one of those pit stops has lost a lap.
They stopped under green a while back, and that did cost him a lap. He's the only car that's on the racetrack that is one lap down. There's 37 on the lead lap.
And those not on the racetrack includes Jeff Gordon, who is still trying to fix his car. Tony Stewart is out. Brett Bodine is out, and so is Kerry Earnhardt. Well, Dale Jarrett would like very much to get 5 bonus points to help his drive for the championship. He gets down to the inside of Bobby Labonte. They race side by side, coming to the line, and looks like Labonte's going to hold him off, at least for this lap. Ricky Rudd is right in behind Dale and perhaps giving him the push that he needs to get by.
Yes, he did. And he slides up the racetrack right in front of Jarrett, but his Rudd going to take the lead before he gets back to the line.
Well, we're going to go 3 deep here. Well, maybe not. Rusty looked like he was going to go on the inside of Rudd. But now Rudd might be the man that'll get the lead. Depends on how that outside lead. Here comes Rusty. He might be the man that'll get it.
Wow, look at this. 3 deep coming off the corner.
Well, let's see who's going to be when we get to the line. Rusty.
Yep, by just a few inches. Dale Jarrett has 6 straight top 5s here in Michigan. The last 2 races, he has finished 4th. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. begins to move up once again.
That's the 50 car Ricky Fraser painted similar to Earnhardt Jr.'s car. Earnhardt Jr. is back in 13th position right now.
Trying to move up.
Martin, Johnny Benson, and once again, Matt Kenseth. Always talk about a wide racetrack and you can run so many places. That was clear evidence. You can run about any place you want to in this racetrack.
Yep. Last week's winner, Steve Park, comes up and joins the lead group. In that one car, he's been slowly moving up through the field.
Last time out, he was on his 10th spot. He started 15th, but remember on that first caution flag on lap 2 or something, pit stop made some serious adjustments with the car, went back to about 30th. He's now up to 10th, as I just said.
We can now list the 21 car of Elliott Sadler officially out of the race. Dale Jarrett's car is really pushing up coming off the tube. The last time he caused a big jam up over there when he went to the wall, and this time pushed up again for him.
Ward Burton and Mark Martin get by DJ. Here comes Johnny Benson and 17 of Matt Kendrick.
And looks like Mark Martin's going to take that spot away from Ward Burton. Moving into fourth spot.
There's Johnny Benson down to the low side of Ward Burton.
Now, Ward Burton only changed 2 tires this last pit stop, trying to get to that track position he had lost, and it worked. But now is the car handling well enough?
You guys thought I had mistaken the 8 for the 50, but I was just watching Dale Earnhardt Jr. back in the pack moving up, and there's evidence that he is.
Yeah, you're right, Bobby. He's moving up to there. They've done a wreck there on turn 2.
Once again, he and his father are running right together on the racetrack.
Oh, Junior had to ease out of the throttle. Hear him off the corner when he eased out of the throttle. And Dahlin's back. The green car on the inside. Drives down to the inside of Earnhardt. In the 3 car.
He had to make a return visit to pit road, BP, because, we kept Craven in the wall. I was going to say,
wall behind you.
Made a return visit to pit road because of a loose lug nut, and he has been able to move up through the field and now runs 13th. This
Car's going to be able to get back here. Just hold your position.
And you know what happened to Ricky Rudd? I believe he was just simply trying to get out of the way and let these guys race. Ricky Craven,
crosses the line as the leader, and the caution comes out for the 5th time this afternoon. Let's take a look at what happened to Ricky Craven as the car went up toward the wall in turn 1.
There he goes down the corner, and someone right behind him, and it looked like he was trying to get out of the way and just simply got too high. That was Elliott behind him. He got in the loose stuff and wouldn't turn once he got up there.
The pace once again slowed because of a caution. 77 laps are completed in the Pepsi 400. Top 5, Wallace, Rudd, Bobby Labonte, Martin, and Benson. Well, we weren't anticipating pit stops, but those drivers who were having problems with handling of their cars are on pit road, now beginning to move out on the racetrack once again.
And Dale Jarrett is still sitting on pit road work. And look at the crank on that thing, the chassis adjustment.
I think they must have taken the rubber out and put one in or something on the right side.
Jerry?
Well, they were going to go 2 rounds up on the track bar and change 4 tires. They were trying to get a rubber out of the right rear, I guess. And I heard Todd say, don't worry about it. We can't get it out, put the tire back on, we'll take the left side tire. So I guess they were trying to get a rubber out of the right rear. But that's one of the reasons that Dale Jarrett pitted, and some of the other leaders did not. These guys that pitted a moment ago were not at all happy with the way their cars are performing. Let's check in up pit road with John Colonel.
Rick Mast, who started third, dropped all the way back toward the end of the field on this last run. The caution coming out was a lucky break for them because he thinks he might have had an equalized tire because the car was vibrating so much that it was just rattling his teeth. So they were able to come in, take on 4 new tires. They're now checking it out just to see exactly what might have been the problem. So as soon as I get an update on that, I'll let you know.
Well, it's one thing to run 200 miles an hour here at Michigan Speedway. It is quite another to run 50 miles an hour downhill on a sled racing 6 wide in a Supermass Street Luge. The finals are coming up today on ESPN. The finals of the Supermass Street Luge, part of the X Games. That's coming up next here on ESPN.
Man, they knock each other out of the way just like they do in stock cars, don't they?
It's a fun thing to watch. Ricky Craven's crew working on the pancaked right side of his car.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Dale Jarrett both coming back into the pits. They were in the last lap.
Let's go down to Jerry Pine.
Well, they wanted to both come back in and make a mild adjustment. They're going to put some tape on the front of Little Lee's car while Dale Jarrett is hoping they'll be able to get that rubber out of the right rear. Now, they have a pair of vice grips. They're going to reach in there. They got the right rear tire off and try to yank and pull. A rubber spacer actually increases the rate of the spring and makes the right rear stiff. If they pull it out, it will soften the right rear. They're going to maybe need a ratchet rig to try to basically adjust to take some of the pressure off. Well, they don't have time. Now, this, they did get it out, so they're going to try to put the tire back on. So Dale Jarrett will be down and away just a moment ago. Dale Earnhardt Jr. exited pit. That's putting more tape on the front of his car to try to get some more downforce on the nose. now left side tires, and they will try to pull a rubber out of the left rear of Dale Jarrett's car. So obviously the car knows what it's liking, and as Todd Parrott said a moment ago when the caution came out, the leaders may stay out, DJ, but we're not good enough to win. We have to pit and work on it, and indeed they have done that twice.
So Dale Jarrett will lose significant track position. And A.J. Foyt looks on in the Pepsi 400. Back in a moment.
Crown Acura of Clearwater, the Bay Area's leading Acura dealer, is offering these incredible factory lease specials. Lease the sporty 2001 3.2 Acura CL Coupe or the sleek 2000 3.2 luxury TL sedan. Voted Consumer Digest Best Buy. Your choice, only $369 a month. Equipped with leather interior, power moonroof, power windows, CD stereo, and much more. All for just $369 a month. Take advantage of these incredible lease specials. Come in today and experience the Crown Acura difference. The Hyundais at Fitzgerald Auto Mall are disappearing fast. Why? It could be that the energy-efficient Hyundais are getting up to 36 miles per gallon. It could be the Hyundai Advantage warranty, which stretches 10 years or 100,000 miles. Maybe it's the Fitzgerald Auto Mall guaranteed low price and expert service. Whatever the reason, you need to come to the Fitzgerald Auto Mall 2000 model year clearance and see for yourself. The Hyundais are going fast. Hurry before they're all gone.
Tonight on ESPN at 7:30, Baseball Tonight looks at how the playoff picture is developing. At 8, it's MLB action as the Rangers meet the Bo Sox. And at 11...
Here we go once again.
Green.
Jarrett drops all the way back to 36th position, and Jeff Gordon has rejoined the race. He is 42 laps down after getting extensive repairs on the DuPont Chevy.
Back there to Kodak Film Chevrolet, starting at 41st position as he goes by the 77 car of Robert Presley.
Hamilton finished last in June, completing only 16 laps. Much better run from Bobby here today.
Oh, baby, if you see a car that looks unfamiliar to you, that one, that green or lime-colored 96, that's Andy Houston. He's driving a second Cal Wells car year. And this is maybe an audition to see who will drive the McDonald's team car in the year 2001.
First ever Nascar Winston Cup race.
Veteran Nascar Craftsman Truck Series has 2 wins this year in truck competition at Homestead and Portland. 13 top 10 finishes this year for Andy. Michael Waltrip way up high on the racetrack. Again, we see Dale Earnhardt carving his way through the field. He is at the 23rd position, and his teammate Mike Skinner is right behind him at a 3 wide in turn 3.
Jared Mayfield backs out. He decided that would not be smart to drive into that deep going into that turn down on the inside. It might be like Tony Stewart. Back in, get out from under.
See Chad Will down on the inside, the John Deere car. On the inside of Michael Waltrip, there's 3 wide. Mikey does not want to be there, so and Earnhardt just turns left in front of him and goes in the middle of a 3 wide situation.
Kevin LePage is working the bottom of the track at the number 16 FamilyClick.com, and for just a moment it looked like they could go 4 wide back there.
Last lap, Mike Skinner was right behind Dale Earnhardt as we ride along with Skinner. And you can see that they made some serious adjustments on Mike Skinner's car, but I don't think he still likes it very much. It's not a very happy car right now.
Dale Jarrett coming up through the traffic. Again, he was 36th when the green flag came out to restart. up to 31st right now.
Oh, look at this car. All of a sudden, Jarrett's car just goes up the racetrack violently. It's like that Musgrave in the 0-1 pulled in behind him and got him extremely loose. Mike Bliss, the 27 car. Jarrett goes by him, but Earnhardt Jr. can't make that move on the inside.
Jimmy Spencer, Jeff Burton, Bobby Hamilton, and Bill Elliott running right together on the racetrack. 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th.
40 car Sterling Marlin is on the left. The feet is bleeding. The director had to put the camera up so you could see Sterling Marlin now being passed by Wally Dallenbach. Great run today for that red cell car. Yep. Well, I thought Dallenbach had passed him, but here comes Sterling Marlin back on the inside.
Well, I think it's the variety of grooves that they're using. Just some on the high, low, and just searching all over the place for a comfortable spot.
This is Wally Dallenbach's 16th race here at Michigan. His best finish was in August of '98. He came home 8th. In the spring race in June here, he started 24th and finished 34th. He and Bill Elliott, the track's winningest active driver with 7 victories, are side by side. And a lot of traffic. Here's Kenny Wallace alongside DJ.
Oh, Robbie Gordon gets the big wiggle in that 13 car. He tries to get down in the corner, and that's... Skinner tried to go in the middle of this on the inside of Gordon. All of a sudden, Kenny Wallace was where he intended to be.
Robbie Gordon did not qualify well on Friday, but he elected not to re-qualify on Saturday in second round, and what he did was watch everybody who were out of provisionals fail to make the race, and that gave Robbie the 43rd and final starting position.
Meanwhile, Dale Jr. talking about track position and how these teams fight for track position. There we see the 8 car, Dale Earnhardt Jr., back in 33rd spot. As strong as he was earlier on, he's struggling to try to pass these cars back in the 33rd spot because anymore in NASCAR West Cup racing, track position seems to be the key.
That's Dave Blaney up ahead.
And Blaney loses a couple of spots to Junior and Joe Nemechek.
Junior's tried both the low and the high side. He goes low this time on the inside of Robbie Gordon, but his car is still not working the way that it looked like it was at the beginning of the race. But there again, Vinny, track position probably had a lot to do with that when he was out front. It was much easier to do things back in the pack.
It looks like Junior right now needs the entire racetrack. It looks like if he could go in and then let the car go up to the top of the racetrack, he might be okay. But there are other cars up there, and since he can't do that, it seems to really hinder his progress.
Less than 10 laps away from the halfway point, Rusty Wallace leads, but by just a couple of car lengths over Ricky Rudd. Then we get back to the third place car, Bobby Labonte. He's about a 1.7 seconds behind. Behind Bobby Labonte, running in 4th position, is Johnny Benson. We'll check the speeds here as they hit the line and see who's the best. Rudd right now with the top speed at 180.243, while everybody else is in the 170s.
180 miles per hour, about 40 seconds flat around this racetrack.
Once again, here comes Wally Dallenbach.
Trying to take over the 10th spot from Jeff Burton.
Dallenbach had a good happy hour, and we get more from Bill Weber.
Well, having a real good good run here, especially since they pitted and the race went green back on lap 81. The thing about it is, I'm told by the crew, Wally's been good on the track most of the day. It's been cat problems on pit road. Last time it was a two-tire stop and fuel, small air pressure adjustment. Wally Schallenbach, perhaps a sleeper at Michigan.
He's coming off his best finish of the year. Last weekend at Watkins Glen, he finished 9th after leading 2 laps. Schallenbach led 3 laps and finished 23rd in the first race here at Michigan. He's driving the same car that he competed in at the Brickyard 400. Stewart there in our Napa Field summary. You see how he is losing positions in the point standings. Tony Stewart is already out of the race. He will be finishing at about 41st position, out early in a crash. Ricky Rudd continues to chase Rusty Wallace. Wallace has led the most laps so far in this event, 58 of the first 95. Bobby Labonte has led 19. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has led 13. Jeff Burton was up front for 3 laps, and Ted Musgrave led a lap a little bit ago. Welcome back to ESPN's live coverage of the Pepsi 400 presented by Craftsman Tools at Michigan Speedway. We are at the halfway point, just about to complete 100 laps, and we do have a new leader. Ricky Rudd is now in front of Rusty Wallace.
Comes on turn 4, gets on the inside of Rusty Wallace. We've seen Rusty use horsepower all day long to stay in front, but this time he could not stay in front of Ricky Rudd as he just goes down the corner and powers by Rusty.
And now as they come to the stripe, they get the crossed flags. We are at the halfway point. There is Bobby Labonte, who's running in 3rd position, about 2.5 seconds behind Ricky Rudd. 4th place car is Johnny Benson. Then the 17 of Matt Kenseth, the leading rookie as far as points are concerned, is in 5th position. Here comes Matt in the DeWalt Tool Ford.
Last week's winner, Steve Park, is back in the 6th position.
And John Kernan has an update on Matt Kenseth.
You can't blame Matt Kenseth if he thinks that the car that he's driving is his favorite car. After all, the last time that he raced in that car, it was at Charlotte in the Coca-Cola 600 where he picked up his first career NASCAR Winston Cup victory. Now, yesterday morning after practice, he was very happy with the way the car was. But in the afternoon happy hour session, he wasn't that happy, so they made some changes, and so far today, it looks like they've made the right moves because he's running pretty well.
The 6th caution of the day is coming out. This one for Hut Strickland.
Looks like the engine let go, Bob. A lot of smoke coming from the Hills Brothers car number 90.
And it looks like a big-time engine blow.
Hutt was the fastest second-round qualifier.
All right, now next time they come by, they will complete 102 laps before they can fit. It will be 103. That just might take the fuel situation strategy out of the race today because then the teams would only have to run 48, 49 laps, and I think most of them can do that.
Yeah, after they make this pit stop, when pits are open, they'll have one more that they'll need to make as far as fuel is concerned.
Pennzoil Copter Cam has the overhead shot for you as the cars are behind the pace car going down the backstretch.
There's still 36 cars on the lead lap.
If you have a problem now and just lose one lap, you could go from a top 5 car back to 36 spots.
Jeff Gordon is the only car out there that is on the racetrack and not on the lead lap. Everybody else is either out of the race or behind the wall.
Now it's time for the pit crew. That adrenaline to start flowing as you get ready to see who's going to win this battle off pit road. 4 tires, fuel. I know I can do it faster than that next guy. Right, John?
That's exactly right. Johnny Benson just told his crew, guys, let's have a smooth one and see if you can pick me up some spots here on pit road. It'll be a 4-tire change, a wedge adjustment in the right rear. As the tire codes on these tires are different from the ones that came off the car. So James Hitt says they had to make a chassis adjustment to compensate for that. Now the Dr. Jerry punches the Let's Go on Johnny's car.
Ricky Rudd's car is as good as it's been all day long. They tear away the windshield. 4 tires, no adjustment. Rudd is down and away. Here goes Rusty Wallace. It will go 55 miles an hour, and Rudd will beat Wallace. Let's go down to Bell Weber.
Black car just for 4 tires for Bobby Labonte and a mad dash off of him.
Steve Park picked up 3 spots for the good stop.
They did that last week. Remember last week, he took the lead with a terrific pit stop.
The only car besides Jeff Gordon who did not pit, John Andretti. He elected to stay out, but everybody else was on pit road, and now everybody is off pit road. As we will be right back. Back at Michigan Speedway, John Andretti is the leader of the race. He has chosen not to pit during this caution period, or at least not yet. Lined up behind him is Ricky Rudd and then Rusty Wallace. Steve Park up to 4th.
John had nothing to lose. He was running right near the end of the pack, and so why not lead a couple of laps here and get those 5 bonus points? You only need to lead 1 to do that, but get a little bit of airtime here as well.
Just past the halfway point, Dale Earnhardt Jr., who was the Bud Pole winner here at Michigan, is running in 18th position. There you see the drivers that are eligible for the 2001 Bud Shootout at Daytona. Now, this was the second Bud Pole for Dale Earnhardt Jr. He won the pole in May at the Coca-Cola 600 at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Another quick break. We'll be right back with more live action from Michigan. He has made his pit stop, and so Ricky Rudd is back at the front of the field. And a cockpit summary shows you that he maintained his position. So did Rusty Wallace. Steve Park moved up 1. Bobby Labonte down 1. And Jimmy Spencer, who was running in 18th position when the caution came out, gained significant track position up to 5th.
And Ricky Rudd, as you see, in first, out in first. And look, the crew, I talked about adrenaline and making his pit stop. They come around the left side. All right, the left side's up. Still taking the windshield. Piece of plastic off. Watch the crew. They watch the race down pit road. All right, guys, we did it. Came out in first.
And Benny, sometimes you have to go beyond working on the car to make sure everything is in good working order.
So what we're doing here now?
Apparently, we have a broken fly on Robert Yates' pants, but it's fixed now, Doc.
Well, apparently, Robert Yates said he wears these pants on Sundays. He said he loves these pair of pants, but apparently the zipper continues to work its way down, and when he's making a pit stop, he continues to expose himself to the guys over the wall. So the guy said, enough's enough. We're going to put tape on the front of Robert. And Robert said, we'll change it to black tape to match the car. Robert said, the only concern I have is it may overheat a little bit, but then again, I haven't overheated in a long, long time, so it may feel pretty good. But they're having some fun here. Obviously, they're running awfully well. They can laugh and have some fun here at Michigan in the Ricky Rudd pit.
I'm not sure if this is the appropriate place to mention this, Jerry, but today is Jerry Punch's birthday. Happy birthday to the doctor.
Wow, happy birthday, Doc.
Thanks, Bob. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
I asked him how old he was. He said 23. Yeah, he probably is, and I don't know how many years besides that. They're the top 5 under caution. The Pepsi 400 presented by Craftsman Tools just about set to go back to racing as the pace car accelerates and hits pit road. And here comes Ricky Rudd and the rest ready to stamp on the accelerator and get this thing underway once again.
Green.
Spencer just about to lose a spot as Kenza. Daniel Ward just turns left, tries to get alongside. He does. Can he take that spot away? Meanwhile, how did Jimmy Spencer get up there, John Kernan?
Well, Benny, as you know, these crews all work hard on their pit stops. Spencer's car's been good. The pit stops have been, well, maybe even better. That last one, 4 tires, a minor air pressure adjustment because the car is pretty good, but they did it in 15.1 seconds. So now they have Jimmy up in the top 10. Let's see what he can do with the race car.
Great side-by-side battle up front. I think Rudd perhaps got credit for leading that lap, but now Rusty retakes the lead.
Well, here comes Rudd back on the inside. He's going to triple it, but it's going to work. Behind him, they're 3 wide.
And Matt Kenseth is up to 4th. Behind him, again, they are 3 wide there with Benson, Hart, and Spencer, and Mark Martin all doing battle.
Park restarted in 3rd spot, but right now he just cannot hold it. He's falling back to about the 7th, 8th position. And James Ince talking to Johnny Benson.
From outside.
Then the mark was back there if he wanted to try to use that draft and stay low.
Outside, behind him, you're clear.
There.
A fourth-year occasion, Dick McGuire. Wally Dallenbach having a great battle at the green, crawling inside of Earnhardt, going down in 1.
That was Martin that had contact with Earnhardt, wasn't it? Ned over there in 2?
I think so. Yeah. Dallenbach just slides uphill in front of Earnhardt.
Good job. Pull it away.
He's so going here. You can say that in about 30 laps. It will be a good job.
DJ's working using that low groove after they took those spring rubbers out of his car and lost that track position. He started working the inside, and really he came up to 15th from 33rd that time, Bob, and the car seems to be working good down the inside.
Mark Martin, meanwhile, loses the position to Wally Dallenbach, or there for a moment, Dallenbach gets a little loose there in the corner. Allowing Martin to challenge back on the outside, but a good battle here between Martin and Dallenbach for the 10th position.
That was really a good shot back in the corner of Earnhardt, as high as you go in the corner, and Jarrett as low as you can go in the corner.
Oh, look at DJ down low.
And look at Earnhardt up high. Wow. Earnhardt, that cost him a little bit that time.
Yeah, he got in there and could not get back on each other the way that he should, and lost some time.
Lost about 4 spots, too. He had to back off the gas a little bit, I guess. Earnhardt was talking about. But 3 cars. And up there again, here's his son, Dale Jr. down on the inside.
Bobby Hamilton running alongside Jarrett. Good run here today.
Danny Gill's been doing a pretty good job. Danny Gill, the new crew chief in the 4 car. Very nice young man out of Nashville, Tennessee. Bobby brought him up from the Nascar Craftsman Cup Series and said, "You are my crew chief."
Boy, look at him go down on the inside. Hamilton just picked up a couple of positions there.
John Kernan has more on Bobby Hamilton.
That is a brand new car for Bobby Hamilton this weekend, seeing his first race action, and they thought they got a big scare actually on lap 65. They thought they had a right rear shot going bad. That's the same thing that put them out of contention back at this track in June. So they pitted under caution, made some air pressure adjustments, some chassis adjustments, and that fixed the problem. So it wasn't a right rear shot going bad. It was just the chassis was off a little bit. And ever since they made that change back around lap 65, the 4 car has been flying.
Overall, though, the 2000 season has not been a good one for Bobby Hamilton. He is 17 positions lower in the point standings now than he was at this time last year. The greatest drop of any driver. He was 13th in the point standings a year ago and is currently in 30th spot. And Jimmy Spencer also drifts up high.
Yeah, he lost 5 or 6 spots in that one corner because when we talk about happy cars and unhappy cars, his car was very unhappy around all that traffic. He just could not get back the accelerator.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. now to the inside of Jarrett. And again, we see father and son together on the racetrack.
Junior down low, head up high.
Kind of squeezed in between Jarrett and his dad. Ken Schrader trying to go on the outside of DJ.
Last lap around DJ went in the high grid in turns 3 and 4. He's been working so low down there before that cost him. Here's a change for the lead, maybe.
Rudd gets credit for leading the lap.
Rusty coming back on the outside.
Oh! Contact! And whoa!
Can he save it? No.
Man, oh man.
What a job by Rusty Wallace.
He really did do a great job because that thing had all of the inclinations of a crash.
But it broke his momentum, and he loses second now to Bobby Labonte.
And he finally took a breath about right there. Wow, great job by both he and Ricky Rudd. I remember a couple of years ago that Rusty and Bill Earnhardt had a happy hour situation where they got together and wrecked. Something very similar to that.
Now Rusty trying to get that second position back.
And will do so. Here it is again. Watch the contact between Rudd and Wallace.
Right there is the contact. Rusty's car goes up the hill. He had to chase it, and he caught it just in time.
Boy, he did a great job.
That last time around, Rusty was just a little bit faster than Rudd.
Hey, check this out. Andy Houston had 96 cars, moved up to the 16th position.
Audition going pretty well here today.
It is.
Let's see that 12 car back there. He's got a little bit of a surprise today. I would have thought Jeremy would have been better. He was so good here in June, and in the early part of the race he was good. But since then, the car just doesn't seem to be like it.
Jeremy trying to take 19th away from Dave Blaney. And Kenny Schrader. Johnny Benson takes the 4th position away from Matt Kenseth. And there is the lead that Ricky Rudd has on Rusty Wallace. It is 85 hundredths of a second. 120 laps completed here at Michigan Speedway. Our 7th caution is waving over Michigan Speedway as Bill Elliott has made contact with the wall over in turn number 2. And the car is still up against the wall. There's the crew watching.
Dejected look on their face. It's understandable.
And also concern for the driver because this is, well, now guys, watch the monitor because you'll see your driver moving around, disconnecting his helmet. It's always good news to see.
Elliott will not add to his win list here at Michigan today. He has been a 7-time winner here at this facility. This car is called Hot Rod Harry, and it ran here in Michigan earlier this year, also in Indianapolis. They got to repair Hot Rod Harry here in the next few weeks.
If they can.
Yeah. Jerry, what happened?
Well, I'm not sure anyone really knows, quite honestly, but Bill Elliott thinks that he may have cut a right front tire going into the corner. He felt that the right front of the car give on him, and he's telling the crew he thinks he may have just run over something, or in any way, the right front tire went down, so he went up into the wall as we get set for pit stops here during this caution flight.
Show you the replay in just a moment. Meanwhile, we're going to watch these pit stops. By the way, the last time Elliott DNF was in 1981 here at Michigan. John?
And Johnny Vinson's crew will go to work before tire change. They'll take a half rubber out of the right front. Johnny says, I think we do that, we can win this race. To Dr. Jerry Punch.
Expecting 2 right side tires only for Rusty Wallace. And that's all it took. 2 right side tires. That's what they're saying. Let's check in with Bill Weber.
Bobby Labonte wants the car to rotate better in the turns. The 2 and the 99 go by. The 10 is also away, so is the 6. A half count adjustment to the right side and the left side tires for Bobby Labonte. Not to stop at least one more time.
How about that Andy Houston? I guess they changed 2 tires and he gets a lot of traction. Steve Park is still in it. They made some major chassis adjustments on that car trying to fix the car.
Yeah, he was dropping back a little bit out on the racetrack, and I'm sure he welcomed this caution flag to come in and make some adjustments on his Pennzoil Chevrolet.
Now we're going to jump on board the Bill Elliott car with his onboard camera and see if we can listen and determine what happened.
Sounded like that right-hand tire went down as he got into turn between 1 and 2. Rides that wall all the way off of turn 2.
And about right now, he takes a breath because, folks, when you hit that wall, it just, all the air leaves your body, and you gasp for a breath for about 30, 40 seconds.
75 laps to go here at the Michigan Speedway. It is Ricky Rudd leading the Pepsi 400. Down to Jerry Punch.
Guys, updating a couple pit stops down where we are. Jeff Burton came in for 2 right side tires only. And again, his problem is the car gets tighter and gets tighter and tighter throughout the run. They made an air pressure change to try to loosen the car up and free him up a little bit after that 2 right side tire change. Now, Ricky Rudd came down, remember, from lap 64, Rudd said the car's been perfect. They haven't touched it. They put 4 tires on and cleaned the windshield, put gas in it, but no change whatsoever to the chassis. Let's check in with Bill.
Tough break for Steve Park on that last pit stop. They ran so perfectly in the pits last week. On this last stop, they had a clutch problem. Basically, they got a little air in there. He had to pump the clutch. When that happened, it rolled forward off the jack, and that just killed him on the pit stop. They fall back to 30th, and we go to John.
Jerry Nadeau has been on pit road during this caution several times. They have made wholesale changes to the race car because it's very loose. They have moved the rear forward. They've added a rubber to the right front. They've made air pressure adjustments. Just about everything that you can imagine they have done to that race car. Jerry Nadeau rejoining the tail end of the field will hope to make his way toward the front. And we'll be back to Michigan in just a moment.
Green flag once again as we restart the Pepsi 400. The green coming on lap number 130. Rusty Wallace is in the lead. Jeff Burton, then Mark Martin, Bobby Labonte, and Ricky Rudd. And running in 6th position is Andy Houston. And the last time a driver finished in the top 10 in his first race was Matt Kenseth in Dover of 98. He finished 6th. And Dale Jarrett is on the move.
Mike Skinner's moved up to the 8th position.
Well, they just lost it going into coming off of turn 2 as DJ and Kenseth got by. Dropped Skinner down to 11th now.
Meanwhile, here's Ricky Rudd trying to work that technical car back to the front.
Well, while all this is going on, Rusty has checked out on him.
Comes up and tries to push Mark Martin, and he does get by Ricky Rudd. Meanwhile, Houston got a challenge on the inside from Jeremy Mayfield.
Rusty's hoping of a 1.1 second advantage. Last time he ran a 183.7, and And the next fastest was 181.3. Andy Houston started 35th. On lap 26, he had fallen back to 37th, but has worked his way up into the top 10. He's 6th.
He's in there with some pretty heavy hitters right now.
Labonte dives to the inside of the track.
We see Earnhardt and Winston and the 31 car all together as Winston trying to work his way back to the front. He was in 4th position on this caution flag and came out of pits in 16th.
Back up front. This is the battle for 3rd. Jarrett will take the position from Houston, moving DJ to 6th.
And Houston's going to go there and try to draft along the 88 car. See if they can keep up with the 1999 Nascar Winston Cup champion.
They're Hickory, North Carolina neighbors. They live in the same town, Hickory, DJ and Andy Houston.
Meanwhile, here comes Wally Dallenbach on the inside of Jeremy's room. Oh, he just squeezed right in front of Jeremy.
He's putting some slide jobs on each other out there a little bit.
Like a dirt track.
Dallenbach up to 8th spot. Now he's down on the inside of Houston. Bobby Hamilton trying to push the 75 car, Dallenbach by Houston.
Remember, Hamilton was really fast before this last caution. He had gone up through there past a lot of race cars, and he's passing a bunch again.
Down to Jerry Punch, who has a report on tires.
Guys, we have polled the top half a dozen teams, and what we are being told is that Goodyear has run completely out of right side tires. Now, most of the teams that I talked to have at least 1 set, some have 2 sets, and one team has 3 sets. If we go green, there'll be one more pit stop around lap 175 to 180, and no one will have to worry about it. If we get multiple caution flags, it could be a bidding war for right sides here in the pits.
Looks like Dallenbach goes by and takes that spot away from Jeremy. Moves him up to the 7th position.
Ricky Craven, who hit the wall on lap 77, has replaced the front spindles and brakes and is back in competition. Ricky Craven rejoins the fight. And let's update the Bud Pole winners. Dale Earnhardt Jr. It's not been a good day for the pole sitter as he is back in 23rd position.
Once he got back in the pack, we talked about that earlier. It's been tough for him to pass a lot of race cars. As he was running Winston side up at the position there.
Matt Kenseth, the 17th car. The DeWalt car has the 96 on the outside of the 96. Meanwhile, go back to the battle for 2nd spot.
Ricky Rudd had a run on Labonte there a moment ago, trying to work it again, try to get another run. See there, he's just a fraction faster than Rudd is than Bobby Labonte the last time by.
Rudd had the fastest lap of anybody that last lap. But the interval to the leader, Rusty Wallace, is 2.5 seconds.
That slow car you saw coming off turn 2, pretty sure it was Ricky Craven. It was.
Back up here to the battle for 10th, 11th, and 12th. That's Benson, who now comes up on Jeremy Mayfield. Kenseth running right behind Vincent, then Hamilton, and then Houston.
And this race today, I think, is going to help Andy Houston a great deal. It's not going to help him as far as setting his truck up when he goes back to the Nascar Chrysler Truck Series, but it's going to give him a lot of confidence that he can. He is a great race car driver. Hey, after all, I ran right behind Bobby Hamilton, Matt Kenseth. I stayed in front of Dale Earnhardt. So it's going to help him a great deal as far as the middle part of the business.
Was there a generation before Tommy, or is Andy the second generation?
Andy's the second generation. I don't know that their dad ever raced, but Tommy's older brother, Hal Houston, did race. He was Dale Earnhardt's father-in-law.
Mentioned Dale Earnhardt Jr. He is still back. Actually, has just lost a position to Jimmy Spencer, so put Dale Earnhardt Jr. back in 24th now after a pole start. And look at how he has to chase the car up the racetrack.
Trying to find a search for a place that thing will work for him. He is struggling right now. He just drives it up there, try to get those right wheels up there in that gray stuff, and then all looks like somebody passed him.
Losing more spots as the 93 car and the 97 both have gone by.
Now the 77 car down there on the apron of the racetrack is Robert Presley, who had an outstanding race here in June, almost won the race, finished in 5th. That's been his best finish of 2000. This is the same car that he drove here in Michigan in June. It also ran at California and at Charlotte.
If the rain had worked out just right for him, like it did with Tony Stewart, he would have won that race. But it didn't, unfortunately.
These guys are battling back for the 14th, 15th, 16th position, somewhere in there. Joe Nemechek, the Oakland home star, down on the bottom of the racetrack.
He's one of those drivers that made a lot of pit stops during a couple of the caution flags and came out near the end of the pack, and now he's up there in the 18th position. Moving around Ward Burton. That could be the 14th position.
Joe finished 8th last week at Watkins Glen. 4th and 5th position, the 99 and 88. But up ahead of them, we see a change for 2nd position as Ricky Rudd has taken over that position from Bobby Labonte.
Now, they were running about a little over 2 seconds behind Rusty Wallace. Rusty had run out there almost 2.5 seconds at one time, and they just gradually slipped away at that. Now that Rudd is in front of Labonte, it'll be interesting to see if he can run the 2-car of Rusty Wallace down. Now, these guys have been going at it for about 10 laps. DJ has been trying to pass Jeff Burton on the low side. Here he'll try it again, but he hasn't made it work yet. Now, they're staying about the same distance. They're a little over 4 seconds behind Rusty Wallace, and they've been that way for about 7 or 8 laps.
Dale Jarrett has scored more points than any other driver in the last 6 races. His average finish, 5.6. Finished in the top 10, including 2 wins in the last 9 races here. And still not able to take that position away from Jeff Burton.
Now, I said that they were running about the same distance behind Rusty Wallace, which was over 4 seconds. Well, I noticed that a scoring monitor has been locked with that for about 5 or 6 laps. So I'll have to press the stopwatch to work here and just see how that is working now.
Benson and Mark Martin.
Out for the 6th position.
Yeah, Benson had just came up and took that away in the last couple of laps from Mark. And DJ and Jeff Burton is still running that same distance behind Rusty Wallace that they were about 10 laps ago. I believe Mark Martin has dropped off. He was up there, but he has dropped off the pace a little bit. As you just saw, he lost that position to Johnny Winston.
Did you love that? James Enso, Johnny Benson, you're 0.2 of a second faster than the leader. And for once, I'm not lying to you. I'm telling you the truth.
Rusty Wallace maintaining about a 2-second lead now on his closest competitor, which right now is Ricky Rudd, with Bobby Labonte, Jeff Burton, Dale Jarrett, and Mark Martin, the top 6. Rusty Wallace has clinched the most laps led today here at Michigan, giving him 10 bonus points now for the day. He has led the most laps in 4 prior races this season before today. He has not won any of those.
And
his teammate, I'm sorry,
as big as anything, he gets $10,000 from Gatorade for leading the most laps.
His teammate Jeremy Mayfield runs in 10th spot. Bill Weber has more.
Well, Bob, Jeremy making his return today. He says he feels pretty good. He's recovered from the head injury he suffered in that practice crash at Indianapolis. Of course, he sat out Indy and Watkins Glen. He returned today, but his neck, shoulder, and upper back muscles are still sore. This morning, he had to postpone a 10:30 interview with RPM tonight so he could get those sore muscles massaged. Now, because those neck muscles are sore, Mayfield is wearing a helmet with no paint on it. It's primered like a test race car. Why? Because paint adds weight. How much weight depends on the design. Fancy paint schemes and sponsor logos add more weight, plus 2 or 3 applications of clear coat to protect it adds even more weight. If you think paint doesn't weigh anything, after the race, go out in the garage and just pick up a full pint. That's the weight. It's on the helmet that your neck muscles have to support. But Jeremy Mayfield wearing a lighter helmet today when he makes his return to the track.
Wow, interesting. Very interesting, Bill. I had not thought of that.
There's Mayfield running with Wally Dallenbach. There's Andy Houston running with Dale Earnhardt.
Man, I'm telling you what. Dale Earnhardt is so high from the front, almost against the outside retaining wall. And Andy Houston, I'm sure that he's impressing some people today. It's a terrific run he has going.
It has to be a thrill for him to be running with, and in this case, in front of, such a veteran like Dale Earnhardt.
Nice to move up on Nemechek. Mr. Craig and in and out the pits again.
Now Bobby Hamilton and Mark Martin are side by side.
Well, Mark is going backwards. This car is just not... this set of tires is apparently not working for Mark, because he was up there in 5th position, 4th position actually, and now he's...
lost the position to Hamilton. It is good to see Bobby Hamilton having a good run.
That's really faded is Wally Dallenbach. You see him now back behind Andy Houston. Just how high he goes this corner. As Nemechek goes to the bottom of the racetrack, and watch Earnhardt. Right up next to the outside retaining wall. I love him racetracks like this when a driver can find the groove that makes his car better, makes his car work. He can turn around, circle around, and the driver becomes such a huge part of it.
This car right here, guys, is on the move. Jeff Burton has come from about 4.25 seconds to only about 3 seconds behind Rusty Wallace. He is the fastest car on the racetrack, according to my stopwatch here. It looks like in long runs that he is, so moving on.
And Andy Houston is off the pace after such an outstanding debut in his Winston Cup race. Now brings the car to the apron of the racetrack up in turns 3 and 4.
Well, he has a lot to be proud of here today, the way that he ran.
Jerry Nadeau is also on pit road. John Kernan is there.
Get the table, baby.
Jerry Nadeau's crew make a chassis adjustment with wedge and put on 4 tires. The car very, very loose. Remember, they made all those changes on the last pit stop. They went out and Jerry told his crew, he said, hey, I feel like I'm running on dirt out here. I'm still loose.
So Andy Houston has taken his car into the garage area. There you see it, posting in.
Also saw Chad Little on pit road, but up front, Ricky Rudd has caught. He is reeled in Rusty.
Yes, he was 2 seconds behind there for a long time, and then he just started gradually picking him off 1/10 of a second a lap, and here he is.
Did Rusty Wallace change 2 tires that last pit stop?
I think he did.
If that is the case, then maybe it's getting to the point now that Ricky Rudd is changing 4 tires. That has become an advantage. Looks like it's going to be an advantage. He'll take him right to the front. He's on the inside of Rusty, dives to the bottom, and
right to the bottom, right to the white line, but Wallace battles back.
Just drives it down in the corner, retakes the lead.
And Ricky didn't want to drive it on down in there like he did before, which almost wrecked both of them.
By the way, we realize that we are not showing you the scoring up in the upper left corner of your screen as we do almost constantly. We are experiencing computer problems. Not only you at home there on the screen, but we are experiencing computer problems here in the booth. There's the 18 and the 99 running 3rd and 4th, and both of those are right up against the wall. And again, Rudd will get credit for leading that lap. The question is, will he have it in turn 1, and perhaps Wallace with a bit of a push there from Nadeau.
Nadeau just came out of the pits.
Jerry has more.
And Benny, to answer your question, yes, Rusty Wallace did indeed take only 2 right side tires on his last pit stop on lap 125. He's been finding his cars but a little bit tight on Austin and continue to make air pressure changes in the right front and right rear. But those left side tires have been on the car number 2 since lap 104. So now some 56 laps of left side tires. Maybe this showing a little bit now because remember Rudd made a 4-tire change.
Jerry Nadeau has just unlapped himself with those fresh tires on the 25.
And told that the 96 car experienced a drop in oil pressure and somehow saw that I guess the engine started tightening and he was able to turn it off before it blew up. Is that right, John Kernan?
That's exactly right, Benny. In fact, just got a little more information from the garage area. Andy told the crew, he told us that the car shook really hard going into turn 1. Then he lost power, of course, lost oil pressure. So an engine problem for Andy Houston. But he sure gave it a heck of a run, didn't he?
He sure did, John. He had a terrific run. And Jeff Burton still trying to get by Bobby Labonte for 3rd spot. He's got a really fast race car, as Ned Jarrett just told you, and he's going to have one to catch Ricky Rudd, who just took the lead, as you saw the last lap.
Just a little less than 38 laps to go.
We should have green flag pit stops coming up before too long, if you have already made them.
And so while we prepare for those pit stops by those running up front, we'll take a break and be back with more of the Pepsi 400 presented by Craftsman Tools. 165 laps completed here at Michigan with Ricky Rudd now showing the way. In fact, lengthening his lead over second place Rusty Wallace. The interval is about a second.
Once he got around, Rusty was able to pull away, and I suspect that Those left side tires on Rusty's car have been on there for a long time, but he's paying the price for it right now.
And sometimes you always think about short hitting. In other words, stopping before you have to, and putting on some new tires that will make the car go faster. And Ricky Rudd, I'm sure Ronnie Pemberton, some guys right now are thinking about that. And if they want to stop, get these fresh tires on. Jerry, what are they saying down there?
Benny, you make a very valid point. Now, we expect the final scheduled pit stop for both the 2 and the 28 to come anytime in the next 7 or 8 laps, around laps 168 to 175. Now, here's the big question mark. Remember, Rusty only took on 2 tires on his last stop. Can they afford to go 2 rights only and leave those left side tires on for the final 96 laps? I don't think so. But Ricky Rudd made a 4-tire change. I expect them to come in and maybe only change 2 rights and try to get off pit road in less than 10 seconds.
Well, that's right, because they probably do not have to put a full tank of gasoline in the car. Probably maybe one can will get you into the end. If they had to put 2 cans of fuel in, they might as well change 4 tires, because they can do that just about as quickly as they can put the gasoline in the car. But 1 can, then they do have some real decisions to make, 2 or 4.
I had to make green flag pit stops yesterday. There's been enough cautions that they could come in and make them under caution. Here comes Ward Burton. He's making his pit stop a little bit early. Bill Weber.
And Ward's car just pushing very, very badly, so he's going to pit now. There should be 4 tires and fuel with an air pressure adjustment to try and make the car better. Rusty Wallace begins his trek down pit road. Some of these guys who took 4 tires on the last stop are going to be able to get 5 and 2 on this stop, and that could be the difference in the race. Left side tires going on for Ward. Plenty of fuel should be in there by now. Waiting on the lunch. He's away. We'll see what happens. Here's Jerry.
It will be 4 tires for Rusty Wallace in the final scheduled pit stop. Earl Barban slings the decker on the left side. Left front coming off. Billy Wilburn, Robbie Fuller, the right rear coming off. Left rear. Good pit stop for Rusty. He's out of the way with a 4-tire stop.
16.1 seconds. Final stop for Rusty Wallace coming on lap number 170.
Now that's going to put a lot of pressure on the rest of these teams. You get in and get some fresh tires, because right now those stopwatches. Here we see 10 car coming in. John Kernan.
4 tires, guys.
Vince has told his crew 4 tires. We're going to take 4 tires, but who knows? He may change his mind in the middle of this pit stop. Johnny slides to a stop. They'll go to work on the right side. Only air pressure adjustment for the car, which is in pretty good shape. Now they do decide to go ahead and change all 4 tires. Left side going on. The gasoline second can going in. That's not a problem. And now the mud's just a little bit low on the left front, but a pretty good. And Jeremy Mayfield is in right in front of the pit. Jeremy took on 4 tires as well. Did not see any adjustments. He is away.
Mike Stewart. Mark Martin is leaving the pit area in the battle lane car.
We came down pit road side by side. Mark Martin, Jeremy Mayfield, and we go out just like Jeremy kind of beats Mark out. Now all these cars are going a lap down as they make their pit stops. Of course, the leaders have yet to stop. And Sterling Marlin comes in for his, what should be his last service, slides the wheels in there and go to work on it.
Be a 4-tire stop also for Sterling Marlin. And Bobby Labonte, second place, comes down. 55 miles an hour is the speed limit as he's headed toward Bill Weber.
And they've had some outstanding pit stops today. Jimmy Maycar talking to his driver as they come down pit road. Bobby Labonte on his last pit stop took 4. I expect them here to take 2 right side tires, a half pound in the right front, and a half pound out of the right rear. They take the tearaway off the windshield. Earnhardt getting right side tires. Labonte's already away. Left side going on the 3-car, and now he continues the long trip down pit road at 55 miles per hour.
And we see Dale Jarrett also entering pit road. Robbie Gordon moves away from his pit box as Jarrett comes toward his.
All right sides, 4 tires. We saw Bobby Labonte, 4-tire change. He probably had a 3 or 4 second faster pit stop than Rusty Wallace, Bill.
Todd
Dale Jarrett a little stall, so get it close to the wall, stop it on the mark. Right side tires, they come around to the left side, he's got the fuel. A quick stop for the 88, 7.7 seconds. He moves away, the 75 comes in, we go to Jerry.
And Michael McSwain said, Ricky, you make the call. 2 tires or 4. Rudd said 2, only 2. Remember, Rusty Wallace pitted a little over 16 seconds. They want to get Rudd out in 10 or less. Here he comes to a stop. And he starts the clock. Right side tires only. They peel the windshield off. Right front is on. Right rear is on. Norman Kosamichu has 1 can of fuel in. They get under 10 seconds, and that should possibly give them a shot at winning it here at Michigan.
Bobby Hamilton coming down pit road to Kodak Film Chevrolet. Steve Park sitting on pit road. Some indication he has lost his cylinder. Chevrolet.
The 99 car of Jeff Burton now rolls on the pit road. He led a lap before coming in. Matt Kempf is also on pit road. Begin work on the 17. We'll get down to Jerry for a call of the 99 stop.
X-side crew, right side only. They said push, push, push. Right side tires only for Jeff Burton. He's down and away. And Matt Kenseth also right side tires only for the Robbie Reiser DeWalt crew.
Wally Dallenbach was in a while ago. He only took 2 tires. Here comes Kenny Wallace leaving the pit. Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes in. He hits the mark, and the crew goes to work on the Budweiser Chevy. And this will also be a 2-tire stop, and he's out in 8 seconds.
And he did a home shot, didn't he? He got out there in a hurry.
Well, on the track, Ricky Rudd and Bobby Labonte have found each other.
And it all shakes down. This ought to be the battle for the lead.
That's exactly right, Jimmy.
Now, the 16 car of Kevin LePage actually is leading right now, but he has yet to make his pit stop. And when he does, it will come down to a battle between Rudd and Labonte. There is Kevin LePage.
Rusty Wallace with his 4 tires is probably 3 or 4 seconds right now behind the 28 and the 18 as we see Kevin LePage come off the racetrack to make his last pit stop.
And with that, Rudd has the lead with Bobby Labonte right on his rear spoiler. Rusty Wallace now is 2.6 seconds behind. We'll see if he can close that gap. Dale Jarrett is 4th and Jeff Burton is 5th. Caution is out here at Michigan due to an accident involving Robbie Gordon. Dale Earnhardt Jr. also spun down into the grass here in front of the Tri-Oval. But this does raise considerable question as to what's going to happen regarding pit road and those who came in a few laps ago and took only 2 tires. Here's a replay of Gordon into the wall, and he hit it hard.
Comes off the corner, the car gets sideways, but he turns it back and corrects the car, and he comes back across and goes straight up into the wall as the right window blows out.
And right behind him, Dale Earnhardt Jr. also spun. There's Jr. down in the grass.
Check this out from Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s onboard camera. There he sees him spinning. He just simply got down in the grass trying to avoid it. There's not a lot of traction down there.
Couldn't see. Well, Dale, the lead cars were coming right up on this stop.
Yep. And he just drive through the cloud of smoke. Just hope that nobody's there. Down to John Kernan as some make pit stops.
Updating on Robbie Gordon, who just spun out coming out of turn number 4. He radioed his crew and said, I went to lift off the throttle, and the throttle was stuck down to the floor, so he spun it out. That was the problem. I know they had a problem a little bit earlier where they talked about giving him some 2-sided tape to put on his shoe, on the sole of his shoe, during a caution so that would help him lift the throttle up. But that was the problem for Robbie Gordon, why he spun out in turn 4.
Well, those running up front did not make a pit stop here, despite the fact that they only made 2. Some, however, did.
And Rusty Wallace now with his 4 tires is right behind the second-place car, Bobby Labonte.
Yep, that 2.6-second advantage that Ricky Rudd had on Rusty before the caution now has gone. And that's the way the top 15 are running at the end of 179 laps. 26 cars on the lead lap. And the remainder of the field now.
See, Dale Earnhardt Jr., pole sitter, has lost a lap due to that spin.
Steve Park is having problems, and he is back behind the wall. Well, they're talking about changing the carburetor, I guess. He remains on the racetrack, but he is having problems. Under caution once again here at Michigan Speedway. We'll be back with a restart in a moment. For those of you tuning in for the X Games, stay with us because in 19 laps the race will be over and we'll take you to San Francisco. These, ladies and gentlemen, are speed bikes. No engines or pedals, but plenty of velocity. So watch them race down Steel Rock Run coming up next on the X Games. Some pretty big crashes.
Yeah, they do. That hurts just to see it.
You see, I've been talking about soft walls. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep. Down to John Kirk.
And Robbie Gordon has climbed from his car. Robbie, a wild ride. I understand your throttle was sticking on you?
Yeah, we fought stuck throttle from about lap 20 on. Unfortunately, we're just trying to ride along and get somewhere in the top 25 as a result. Just moved into the top 20, so we're pretty happy about that. And, you know, it's unfortunate. We knew we didn't have a car all weekend that was very good, and we were just going to try to get through Michigan and get on to the next race.
Now, you've done some picking and choosing of races now to advance your team. How are you pleased with the results so far?
I was pleased with last weekend. I can't say I was pleased this weekend. Anytime you have to take provisional means you have to go back and do more homework.
All right, that's Robbie Gordon out of it for now, but fortunately he is okay.
And another driver having problems, continuing to have problems, is Steve Park, as they will raise the hood on the Pennzoil Chevy once again.
Steve Mill is exhausted after trying to push the car to get it started. He's just kind of walking back, see what's going on now. They'll have to work on the air cleaner and the carburetor. Once again, caution car off the speedway. 18 laps to go when they take the green flag. Who's it going to be?
Green.
Rudd gets him a little bit of a jump. Have some lap cars this time. This is the first time since way back in the race when only Ricky Craven was on the lap car.
Rusty Wallace on the very bottom of the racetrack, and he tries to get a run on Bobby Labonte for second spot.
Labonte looks inside, back and forth, back and forth.
If he's trying to scare Rusty Wallace there, it probably worked.
Well, Rusty's coming down on the inside, making him a run.
And don't count Jarrett out of this thing. He's the fourth.
Well, they made some huge pits, some huge changes on that 88 car doing a pit stop, and it looks like it's worked well. Here goes Rusty Wallace for the lead off two.
Well, I think those 4 tires that he's changed work to his advantage.
Down the backstretch, Wallace is side by side with Rudd, and Wallace takes the lead on lap 184.
And here comes Dale Jarrett down to the very bottom of the racetrack, trying to take over third from Bobby Labonte.
Denise, their teammates pulled down in front of him and helped him a little bit there as they were about to get together.
Meanwhile, Jeff Burton and Matt Kenseth back in 5th and 6th.
Jarrett still trying to get that third spot from Labonte. First and second in the points. They're battling for third position here in the late stages of this race.
Have you wondered why that Ricky Rudd and Bobby Labonte, Dale Jarrett did not choose to make a pit stop and change those left sides that they needed? They were going to give up so much track position, they just could not afford to do it.
reminder that as soon as we're finished with our race here in Michigan, we'll switch out to San Francisco and bring you the X Games.
Dale Earnhardt working his way forward. He's moved into the, well, let's see, the fifth or sixth.
Trying to take over fifth there right now from Jeff Burton. Gets a run, moves down on the inside. Jeff Burton can come back on the outside. Matt Keeney's still hanging in there tight.
We haven't seen Earnhardt run down there in a long time.
No, not 3 years ago when we saw Earnhardt down there.
Benson and Kenseth are wheel to wheel as Jimmy Spencer looks on. 7th, 8th, and 9th. Bobby Hamilton is in the top 10.
A great run for Spencer. He could stay there after taking the divisional, starting back in about 39th spot.
And boy, Rusty was just checked out after he passed Bobby Labonte and Ricky Rudd. See how far back those cars are? You look out his rear view mirror, out his back window.
Well, it was 1.04 seconds last time around. We'll see if he increased that on this lap. And it's 1.38.
Well, what we've been seeing all race long is Rusty Wallace, when he changes 4 tires, just like all the other cars, he is really good for 15 or 20 laps. And then the difference in speed starts to lessen, and then those other cars start getting closer to him. But with just 13 laps to go, I'm not sure that these guys have enough time to catch Rusty.
I don't think so either. I think he's got him very lucky.
Always like to mention milestones, and we haven't seen Michael Waltrip much today. He's running back in 23rd position, but we do want to mention that this is his 450th NASCAR Winston Cup start here this afternoon.
On board with Dale Jarrett as he goes down around the bottom of the racetrack where he's been since they took the rubbers out of the rear springs, and we see Earnhardt going by the 10 car and moving into the 5th position. Oh, we see a smoker, and it looks like the car has gotten in the wall.
Robert Presley. Will it bring out a caution?
Not yet.
Not yet. Presley has the car under control. And that's a tough break for Robert, who was in the top 10 and had just dropped out of it. The interval is now up to 1.7 seconds. Rusty's last lap, 180.909. Rudd ran a 180.288. The X Games, second day of the X Games from San Francisco, coming up in just a moment, when we have completed a little more than 9 laps from right now.
I said that Presley might have hit the wall off turn 2. Well, he did hit the wall. I don't think that's the case, because I looked at the right side as he turned the car into the garage area, and I didn't see any contact with the wall, so it was something else that caused the smoke.
These 3 cars battling for the 2nd position using different lines. Ricky Rudd hangs on to 2nd.
Rusty Wallace has won Winston Cup competition here at Michigan 4 times, 88, 89, 94, 96. He won in an ASA race here in 93, and he won an IROC race here in 91.
Good race track for him.
Yes, it has. Matt Kenseth, Jeff Burton, and Jimmy Spencer are fighting it out, and you're right, BP. Jimmy has done a fine job today.
As they try to get by the 26, the 99 car, can't do it. Meanwhile, Bobby Hamilton running in 10th spot right now. That would be almost a mini victory to get a top 10. It's the struggle they've had this year in that Kodak Film Chevrolet.
Jeff Burton's car seems to have gone away. We heard earlier that the car belonged to Randall Tighter it would get. So he's not doing as well as he would like to.
Matt Kenseth has been the highest finishing rookie in 13 of 21 races this year. And it looks like he may end up there again in this race. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is back in 27th spot. And Kenseth is in 7th. came into this race leading the Rebecca's Rookie of the Year point standings by 23 over Little League.
Here comes Spencer. He's trying to go back to Kenseth as well.
Yeah. But they have that momentum from that high groove, and they go on back around him again. But he'll try it again the next turn. See if he comes into the picture. There he is. Jeff Gordon has pulled his car behind the wall. He made as many laps as he could. He couldn't pass anybody else, so he just pulled it out. And of course, the 77 Robert Presley is out now.
So Jeff will finish in the 36th position after that incident early on with Tony Stewart. No, it wasn't a situation where they intentionally wrecked each other. Tony lost control at the bottom of the racetrack, admitted that he lost it on his own, and the car slid right up in front of Jeff. Well, Spencer's still working on Kenseth. Wow. Oh, close. Closer. Really loose.
Burton said, boys, please be careful.
Right behind you.
And Bobby Hamilton comes up. Spencer's not to give up. He's back on the bottom again. Look at Hamilton right in the middle of the racetrack. And here comes Mark Martin back in the fight.
Mark right now 11.
First place on the racetrack. They are going at it.
Interval between first and second is 2.6 seconds. Rusty has indeed checked out.
But Mark turned left. Get on the inside of Hamilton. Spencer will slide up in front of Burton. No, there's not room, is there, between the two? Yes. And Burton knew he was going to do that. That's why he just turned left.
Passed him right back.
Now he slides in that hole. Now Spencer goes back to the bottom of the racetrack.
Well, I did it one time. I'll do it again. Now watch you slide up there in front of him.
Look at Mark Martin
not this time.
Mark Martin on the very bottom of the racetrack. Yep, Spencer slid in that hole again.
Yeah.
Here comes Ward Burton up on the outside of Mark Martin. Then Jeremy Mayfield drives to the inside. Look, you lose momentum coming off these corners and you just, man, these other cars that have that momentum fly by you. Spencer once again trying, and he might make it this time. He does.
We'll have just, 3 more laps to go.
Jimmy Spencer moves up to 7. Kenseth 8. Jeff Burton 9th, and Ward Burton now has moved up into 10th position.
Another car that's on the move is Johnny Benson. He's in 5th place. We saw him pass Mark Martin for 5th place, and now he has run down Dale Jarrett, who is running in 4th place. Only has a couple more laps to make a pass, but he's been catching him at a pretty good clip.
Continue to fight it out. Tonight, we'll have for you an interview with the winner of our race here at Michigan, and we are going to have to switch immediately to San Francisco to catch up to date on what's happening at the X Games, day number 2. And the white flag is out for Rusty Wallace. 1 more lap to go. We watch this battle back here for 9th, 10th, 11th on back. Rusty with almost a 3-second advantage as we continue to focus in on this battle. It's the best on the racetrack. There's no competition also between the 28 of Ricky Rudd and the 18 of Bobby Labonte. They're running 2nd and 3rd.
Mark Martin has some damage to his left rear. That's certainly hurting his efforts as Rusty Wallace comes down to the checkered flag. It's Rusty Wallace with the victory.
As they cross the line, you see where they're going to finish. Benson in 5th. Here they come down to the line in this battle. Got it from Jeff. Martin finishes in 11th position. Hamilton with a 14th place finish. Terry Labonte in his return winds up in the 20th spot. Well, it's Rusty Wallace's 52nd career victory and his 5th at Michigan and his 2nd win in the Pepsi 400. He won also in '89. Again, the winner interview on RPM tonight. The X Games are coming up from San Francisco. Rusty Wallace wins the Pepsi 400. Now, let's go to the X Games in San Francisco.